I am love. I am peace. I am free. I have abundance. I have everything within me. For I was, for I am, for I always be. We are love. We are peace. We are free. We have abundance. We have everything within us. For we are, for we will always be. For Mother Earth is love. For Mother Earth has peace. For Mother Earth is free. For Mother Earth has abundance. For Mother Earth has everything within her. For she was, for she is, for she will always be. And so it is spoken, so it has been written, and it is done.
have entered into a dimension of truth, where time does not exist, and illusions are shattered. The journey of truth is intense. The journey of truth will set you free. Consider this a warning as you enter the dimension of Truth UnCONPromeyezed.
We are in the age of truth, freedom, love, prosperity, abundance, and peace. Welcome to Truth UnCompromised.
All right, family. Welcome to the Truth UnCompromeyezed Show. I am your host, Rhonda, and tonight we have a great show planned for you. We are actually on episode 47 of our series, Momma Terra and the Consciousness of Her People. I'm excited. This series, I know we're probably going to hit being on this series for 1 year. So before I get into the admin stuff, let me send shout out to the YouTube family in the chat. A shout out to Nisi Pooh, T. Christopher. Shout out to son Scotty. A shout out to Sis Tanya. Shout out to Randy. Shout out to Mohawk, Sis Mohawk. Shout out to American Indian Star. Are we going to argue tonight? Because you know we usually got to have some type of argument. It is all good, brother. Peace and love to JBP. Peace and love to Brother Christopher. Definitely sending you healing peace, fam. Let's send Brother Christopher some healing peace tonight. His family is going through some family tragedy, so please keep him in your thoughts and send him healing, supporting energy. Shout out to Sis Stephanie Cook. Shout out to Capricorn Rising. Shout out to Brother Lance. Shout out to Helenese. Peace and love. Peace and love. Shout out to Curly Blessed. Shout out to Sarah. And shout out to all of you all in YouTube. Okay, fam. So we're on episode 47 of this series. Now, if this is your first time with me, let me get everything adjusted, y'all. My water. Okay, chapstick. I forgot to get this. I had to go buy another desk. So I had to spend some change on a desk, one that moves up and down, because sitting, it starts to hurt your back when you're sitting all day. So I had to go buy another desk, so my office is even smaller now. Okay, so if this is your first time joining us, we started out this series going over a document by the Alphabet Boys that literally talked about the study of consciousness. And in that particular document, they actually recreated manifestation through consciousness. It actually being put in action by using your thoughts. They were able to show under infrared light the projection of a hologram. In the document, they talked about the concept of time as it is taught is not true. Time is not linear, past, present, and future. Time is all in the now, and it's based on frequency. They talked about time travel. Well, actually, we went over an actual time travel pattern in this series. So if this is your first time catching us in this series and you want to know more about that study of consciousness from the Alphabet Boys, go back to the first episode and we put the source of that particular study in the description, or at a minimum, we dropped it in the chat. Okay, son Scotty, we dropped it in the chat. So yeah, go back for that. So we was just about to be done, and Brother Sean came up with, oh, dag, y'all, I ain't recording, because y'all know I got to record everything to back up to the smack up.
Recording in progress.
Child, I can't take nothing a chance. So we were just about to be done with the series, and then Brother Sean ran across a book, and we're going to revisit this book tonight, called Path to Orion, Earthly Route to Peace with Justice by Emily Windsor Cragg. You can get this book, you can download it for free via PDF on on Google. She actually wants you to do that. Or you can get it on Amazon. Okay, so this is her book. And in this book, well, first of all, she started out talking about the first people on the planet when the Anunnaki hit the planet 450,000 years ago were in North America. Okay, so in the book, she went into the Anunnaki coming here, terraforming, although she didn't use terraforming. She said they came here to repair the planet after a galactic battle happened. I say it was an invasion, not a galactic battle, and they terraformed the planet. And then she also went into all of the religious systems that we see today, politics, etc., came from those beings. We're actually going to go back tonight and pull something that she said out of this book. Child, get ready. Tonight, I done ran across some information, and I was actually looking for something else. I was chilling, minding my so-and-so business, and came across some other information. It's gonna refer us back to this book and a couple of other things. Okay, so we was almost gonna wrap it up, and then through just discussions, and shout out to the YouTube channel Adapt 2030. He just talked about in one of his videos, a time travel patent. I went to the U.S. Patents website, pulled it. Yep, sure enough, it's there. We went into detail on that. Mind-blowing stuff. Absolutely mind-blowing stuff. You're talking creating alternate realities, etc. Nanobots, very, very interesting stuff. Okay, and then in the midst of that, shout out to Sis Tressie. She brought in for me the Terra Papers, which also goes over the galactic wars that took place in just another dimension. Okay, between the Anunnaki, other civilizations, and whether or not you want to say civilizations or beings. Very, very telling information. It goes into the systems that those different civilizations use, which are the same systems that we see today. And we were almost about done with those Terra Papers. And then Brother Christopher was talking about this book, War of the Anunnaki, Nuclear Self-Destruction in Ancient Sumer by Dr. Chris H. Hardy. She is a woman. Lost one of my thingies. I want to point that out because, women usually don't get into this field. So here's her book off of Amazon. And, child, what I like about her book, first of all, her source is the Sumerian Text. That's what her source is. Okay? What I like about her particular book, she does not list the Anunnaki as these mysterious, magical beings. As a matter of fact, she called them humans. Humans from another dimension or another galaxy, however you want to term it. She puts it in the aspect of them having superior technology. She is also going into this book, through this book, every religion that you can possibly think of. She is showing you the origins of where that information came from. She's even going into the symbolism. And it was something else I wanted to say she going into, and I done set up and forgot. Anyhow, that's what we're on right now, okay? So last week, we didn't even get into it, honey, because I had to break down the Gods of Egypt movie, all right? But we're going to pick back up where we left off with that tonight. Hopefully we'll get to it, because I got additional info I need to bring tonight, and it's going to be really, really, really interesting. It's going to be very interesting, okay? All right, so peace and love, Sis Sandra. I hope all is well. I know you said you're not going to be on this week, beloved, so I hope all is well with you. Okay, so let me bring on son Scotty. Our brother Sean hasn't made it yet, so hold on a second. Okay, your mic should be unmuted. There you
Peace
are.
and love.
Peace and love. How are you, son?
I'm good. I'm great.
That's good. It's good to hear your voice.
Yes, good to hear your voice too. Be back after this week of so much drama going down. Had a lot of hot drops I saw on YouTube.
Yeah, and I know it's like every other day I have to drop something. Literally every other day. And I don't know. I'm thinking about, I think I'm going to work on putting out an app. I know a lot of other people are putting out apps. Because it's getting harder and harder to put content out there because you are so restricted. And you know,
Right.
that's what happens when you're on somebody else's platform. So let me let Brother Shine in, and then we're going to go ahead on with the fuckery. Uh-oh. Here go Brother Shine with the technical difficulties. Brother Shine, are you there? Oh, his audio trying to connect. You got to shake whatever they got on you. Okay, let me try to unmute you. Okay, let's see. Okay, you're unmuted. Peace and love, Brother Shine.
Wholeness and power,
Okay,
sis.
there you are. How you doing?
I'm good. How y'all doing?
We're doing good. We're doing good. It's good to hear your voice.
Likewise.
All right. So, son Scotty, go ahead on with the fuckery do you have for the fam tonight?
Actually, can you come back to me real quick? I gotta do something.
Yeah, do your thing, but mute if you're gonna have a lot of noise up in the background.
Okay.
Okay. All right, Brother Sean, you have any go ahead on with the fuckery?
Well, bruh, this whole fear factor that people keep choosing to subsist in, I just don't get it. I mean, are we gods? Are we creators? Or what?
Right.
I mean, people still worried about what these people is or ain't gonna do. Still want to be saved by somebody.
Right.
Don't want to put in no work.
Not nary, as Big Mama and them used to say.
But just want to reap all the benefits. Just want to sit back like everything just gonna fall in your lap, and you don't even know who you are.
Right.
That's the most important part, knowing who you are. That's how you become to know what you're capable of and where you actually belong and don't belong. None of this has to be complicated. If everyone truly wants to be who they are and be what they're supposed to be, if everybody's worried about their birthrights and what they're supposed to inherit, maybe some of y'all need to be looking in a different dimension or a different planet, different country. I mean, it's just all kind of places for y'all to start.
Right.
Now, everybody know on this entire planet that it's all about us here. Why else is everybody here?
Right.
Why why else is all eyes on us? Everybody's waiting to see what the indigenous people do. They not thinking about the patriots for real. That's y'all thinking that. Y'all thinking about the patriots. Everybody waiting to see what we are going to do.
Yep.
Whether or not we gonna give everything up and go off into a new cycle, like I can hear plenty of y'all want to do, even knowing who you are. There's plenty that's still trying to hold this system up and figuring that the answer is within the system
Yep.
instead of within self. But I mean, everybody's entitled to create their own reality. And then part of this perceived reality, both sides of the Vaseline issue, yes, even the patriots, anticipate the demise of 1.4 to 1.8 million people
Mm.
because of the masturbation with Vaseline. They both say that. They say it was necessary because people didn't want to wake up or believe what was going on.
That's what the Patriots said.
Yep,
Wouldn't it have to be more than 1 point something million eliminated?
billion.
Oh,
I meant
billion,
billion.
billion,
Yeah,
billion.
billion.
Okay, okay.
So, I mean, if either side is willing to sacrifice that many people, who is it you want to get in bed with?
Child, I know that's right. And who making the decision? Who's making that decision of the said sacrificed?
The people themselves that volunteered for it. They decided to go along with this ritual, which has been laid out before us long time ago. It's not like we blindsided by any of this. How long we been trying to tell people?
For a minute since I've been on the air back in the blog talk days, uploading videos and shit a long time.
So, I mean, nobody has an excuse as to why they don't know any better.
True that.
And that's the ultimate fuckery that people are out here fucking themselves, waiting to be saved.
Yep.
How can somebody save you that doesn't have any power over you? You condemn yourself or you save yourself.
Right.
He can't make you do nothing. He want to feed off of you, but all he can do is give you thought programs to make yourself accessible to be eaten.
Right.
He can't just make it. You lay down and be eaten alive. You have to voluntarily do that.
Exactly.
And that's what people are doing. And then they want to cry and complain and protest and vote and protest and blame and point fingers.
Yep.
Y'all crazy, y'all conspiracy theorists. Y'all haters, y'all dividers.
Right.
If the truth divides anything, it's falsehoods.
And so be it. If the truth divides, so be it.
Yeah, because that means they obviously live in a lie. Because I mean, the truth should be the only thing you want at this time to be able to grow beyond all the lies that you know you've been told.
Right.
How is it that people say that all the history is a lie, but they still try and hold on to certain aspects of it that they feel as though will benefit them?
Exactly. Or the
They
ones
looking
that
for
apply to them.
trying to get them privileges, because
Exactly.
that's all it's announcing is privileges, because those of us who are natural to hear, everything is our birthright. I mean, it's all within us. I mean, it's no way around that. Can't tell me a mama don't know who her babies are.
Yep.
So I mean, everybody that's at odds with mama, they don't belong here.
It's pretty simple, to be honest.
And even if you was one of hers and you disrespecting her, you gotta go too.
Yep.
What happens when you disrespect mama in her house? You wind up getting put out, don't you?
Sure do. Miss meal cramps and all.
Especially if you're 18.
You know you hit the bricks. You know damn well you finna hit the bricks.
Sometimes they wouldn't care if you was 15. They figured I was old enough for your ass to get out.
Right. So since you think you grown, right.
But you know, we all got choices to make. It's either you want to continue with the fuckery, or you gonna stand up and do something. And the main thing you can stand up and do is be you. That must be enough. Look at everything they go through to prevent you from being you. So that gotta be enough. And only you can figure out what being you means. I digress.
Indeed, Brother Sean. Son Scotty, you ready? Because if not,
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Because LA, they trying to hit us with the mandates for the recipe. They coming down. They saying you gotta be fully recipe'd out to go to the bar, to the restaurant, to the gym, to wherever these little places people want to go to. And you would think that people would be like, oh, well, I just won't go. Whatever.
Right.
But a lot of people is already like my one friend, this nigga, I'm like, I done caught you up in a lie. You talking about you had to get the recipe for your job, but you work from home, you remote, you ain't even around people. So what did that even matter? Come to find out, oh, I just wanted to get it so I could go to these events. And
That's on them.
so,
That's on them, because I be damned if you gonna gangster me out of my last $2. I don't
and
think
that's the
so.
thing. People are like willing to be bullied and gangstered into doing that. You know, they not really, and this is the thing with the opposition, they coming up with all the backdoor ways to, like, you know, get people to comply, to give their consent, even if, you know, it seems so like obvious that they bribing you.
Exactly.
Like, you know, and so it goes back to that thing where, you know, some people, they are the ones who you gotta let go. They the ones who are gonna be the food for, you know, when the vibration goes higher and these low level entities is holding on to their last bit of existence and they need something to feed on. Those is those people. And, you know, as unfortunate as it is, it's like, you know, everybody has their role to play. And some people want to be on script. And that's another thing too. Like, you know, dealing with the motherfuckers who want to be on script and you know, stick with the storyline and what they bring into the whole confusion of it all.
Right.
And and you know, it does pull on your heartstrings, you know, when it's like you care about people and you see them getting caught up in the bullshit. It's like, you know, how much energy do you conserve to, you know, look out for yourself and your family, as opposed to, you know, acquaintances or associates or friends or coworkers, peers, whoever, you know, people who are not in your immediate realm of, you know, accountability, responsibility, or whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess my thesis for my fuckery is just like, you know, the conditions. Because really I was just like, I'm fine with it. Like, I'm just hearing the news come out and I'm just like, oh, okay, they trying that. Let's see how many people fall for it. And I'm just like watching where it's like, you know, they don't really got to try hard for some people. And so the atmosphere of like, they're gonna be coming from all angles, and you gotta go inside, you gotta stand strong in what you believe in and not get wrapped up in the fear, because it's all like fear and, you know, immediate like satisfaction based. Like, people are not paying attention to the little details. The devil is in the details. You giving away your consent in these small ways that you think is small, but them small ways add up. And before you know it, like, it's fucking Nazi Germany. It's fucking North Korea. It's fucking Russia. You have no privacy, mad censorship. Everything, you have no autonomy.
Right. But
you know,
I mean,
so,
do they deserve it at that point though, son?
see, that's the thing. They don't.
You
Then
sell
when it gets to the point
you know what I'm
where
saying?
they
If you
creeping,
sell
they
your
creeping
freedom
over
for a
here.
sandwich, you don't deserve it.
They do not deserve it. But
That's
this
just
is the
the
thing when they
reality
lump
of
it.
it. I'm not doing it. It's gonna be on record. They gonna pull up the archives and say this crazy ass lady with these locks and scarf every week went on YouTube saying I do not consent. So the bottom line is they don't deserve it. 99% of the people, they don't deserve it. Because at the end of the day, it's not about living in their own sovereignty. It's not about being able to stand out on your own. And that's why I be telling the family, you have to be willing to stand out on your own. You have to be willing to give a damn. Well, okay, you can keep calling me crazy. You can keep calling me all you want to call me. I'll be all of that. But that's not going to move me for what I know. 99% of the people are not going to do that because they are followers. They need to be told what to do. They need those privileges. So if you are like that, that means you are childlike. Your spirituality is childlike. So you deserve to be treated as such. And I can't get upset or my heart go out to someone where that's where their mindset is. That's where they are spiritually. I have to leave them behind. When they transition, they need to go, motherfucker, go to the light. Go to the light. You take your ass through the light. Because you need to recycle and do it over again. But they don't deserve those things. I can't be more concerned about their freedom than they are. How I'ma pull you off? I'd be damned if I try to pull you off the plantation and you cussing me out, calling me all kind of MFs and SBs. You don't want freedom.
But then what be killing me is that, okay, now that you done did what you did, you know, you got your recipe, you feeling like you good, you know, you went along with the script and all that. Now you coming over here to me, trying to cast me in a part like, bitch, I didn't sign up. I didn't audition for this.
Exactly,
like,
for
so-
MF thing. Go on about you. But that's what I go back to, people not being willing to stand in their own stuff. Just like people be coming on my little small ass platform trying to tell me what to do, how to do it, how I feel about a certain way. It shouldn't matter how I feel about a certain way, what I do, what you think I do, how you think I feel. I said what the fuck I said. I don't need your approval. You're not going to get me to come over your side and cheerlead. If that's not what I'm rocking with, I'm not rocking with that. I am comfortable with that. Most are not. They gotta be in somebody's gang. They just gotta be in somebody's gang, and that's okay. I'm cool with that. Do you, boo? But as you said, when you cross over here, Ninja, in my Cat Williams voice, trying to tell me I need to be a part of your gang, that's when we got a problem. I mean, I'm going to tear your ass up every time. But most, 99%, they're not going to stand alone. That's gangster. That's gangster.
Exactly.
Stand alone. I'm sorry. Continue, son.
No, but that's very true. And people don't got that mentality. They done flipped it. It's all about the group mentality, the need to belong, a cult mentality, a gang mentality, a secret society. It's like, you know, nobody wants to. That's the thing too, is like, because of course you can't be an individual and come into knowledge from the inside out. The world has to give you everything. You have to create yourself from the outside in, not the inside out. And so, yeah, we're in a world. I mean, you know, the people that's, and, you know, listen and, you know, believe in this and understand and whatnot. You're like in a world where it's like, well, we know what it's like. The fucking Matrix, all these fucking plugged in people, agents, and then people who's just like unplugged. So
exactly.
It's.
I know you're young, child. Don't be wasting your youth. Like Bobby Hemmett said back up in the 90s, let the dead bury the dead. It's okay. They're eternal beings. They'll come back and repeat it. Go to the light, child. Go to the light. Go on and recycle. They're supposed to recycle. They're not ready. How can they hold a frequency, a high vibrational frequency, when you can't even stand on your own? I'm going to say that for the slow ones in the back. You cannot hold a high vibrational frequency when you can't stand on your own. But great point. Great point, son. Did you have anything else?
No, but when you say that about maintaining a frequency, that's another thing too, is that people don't believe in this stuff. They just so trapped in just, and it was a weird thing, especially with like the religious people, the books and stuff. Okay, you can believe these narratives in here in some type of way. You believe this, your sky daddy and all this, and the angels and hell and blah blah blah, and but then in your real life, in the real world, where you can see people's actions and what's happening and the repercussions of it and the direct effects that are very much depraved and like destructive, you don't think that has anything to do with like some type of like bigger energy, like some type of like something that is there but cannot be seen, like some type of like more than just your flesh. Like, I should just be blowing my mind how people can believe in doctrine, but then don't believe when real life contradicts that doctrine. And actually be like more supernatural than the actual doctrine. Like, if you really tapped in, your real actual life is going to be more supernatural than the shit that they giving you to read and say that this is God and whatever.
Well, we know that the programming that they have chose to accept is so deep. Anytime you have people that will accept someone telling them what their bloodline is versus what their own mama and their grandmama and they dad and they papa then told them, that it can't get no deeper than that. You can even throw the religion out the door. Anytime you accept someone that's not a part of your bloodline tell you, oh, you Israelite, oh, you Hebrew, oh, you African, based on what your actual mother who literally gave birth to you, your grandmother, your father, your grandfather, that's how deep this goes. And then we'll try to argue with people that say, you know I'm that based on what? Oh, you trying to deny. If you don't get out my fucking face, I will literally slice your throat. Because you're not going to lie on my mama's womb. You don't know shit about me. I got my receipts and paperwork. Run me your 5 generation of folk. Run me them names. That's how deep the programming is. That they chose to accept. Because they have to join a gang. Now, not the gang of their immediate family. Let's be clear. Not the game of your immediate family, making your fucking family great. Not that game. Oh, fuck that game. That gang is in shambles. No, I have to go outside, not only myself, but my immediate family, that's supposed to be my responsibility, and join up with another gang that ain't done shit. Not today. Not tomorrow, not the day before that, not 5 years back, not 10 years back, not 50 years back, not 100 years back, not 400 years back. Now y'all can have all of that shit. Not interested. That's how deep it is. I'm not interested in weak people. That's weakness. If you can't stand on your own, if you can't produce a healthy you, if you can't produce a healthy family, that's weakness. And it's nothing you can do or say that's going to convince me I don't want to talk to you. Sorry. Next. All right.
Hey, sis.
Yes, sir.
We also can't fail to be cognizant of the fuckery that our ancestors participated in. I mean, somebody cut deals.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Somebody was living in fear. They let a lot of this bullshit happen. A lot of this shit we're trying to unlearn was taught to us by
Absolutely.
those that we love the most.
Yep.
And when we sit up and pass judgment on things that we haven't put to rest with in our own bloodline,
Come on now, tell it well, well.
we keep going through those cycles.
Mm-hmm.
In this day and age where this events that are happening with the children, this pedophilia, and this, that, or the other. If while you're doing your genealogy, you check a lot of those marriage records, we all have ancestors that have married babies.
Well, what you mean them 14, 13-year-olds that show up
Yep.
on them records?
Yep. So, I mean, what is it that's one of the biggest things that's frowned upon now is that pedophilia, and girls are shunned and shamed for having babies at 13 and 14 years old. And majority of the time, it's not even by someone their age.
Exactly.
Right.
These are the family secrets that we keep and act like it's all right.
Yep.
Is that why it's so easy to watch all this stuff happen to these babies today?
Yep.
Not realizing that we're in a different era and we're not supposed to be subjected to the same spells that they were subjected to.
Exactly.
I mean, as you see, all these young mothers not having reached adulthood or full knowledge of self, then being thrusted into a slave situation when she herself is the divine creator. I mean, if we're going to take everything back to the beginning, even before the Anunnaki and before the divine feminine decided to create her masculine slave, it all set a chain of events off that has us where we are now. We all play a part in everything that's going on. And until we take full accountability
That is right.
for our part in it, shit ain't ever gonna be right. Because there's always gonna be a hidden parasite somewhere.
Exactly.
Just waiting for the right conditions to reemerge. Mm-hmm. And the way that they're telling it, those parasites will be asleep for 1,000 years. So either way it go, If you're participating within their system, you only get 1,000 years of peace.
Which could
But
be one day, but continue.
an
But continue.
hour, a minute, it depends on whose timeline you go by.
Exactly.
But we have a lot of work to do, family. It ain't about nobody else worrying about what the Patriots gonna do, what the Democrats gonna do, what China's gonna do, Russia. Nobody.
Right.
When we at the top of our shit, can't nobody fuck with us that's in this world or no other world. That's the shit you should be focusing on. Going beyond anything and everything that they've told you. Because everything that they've told you is to get you to consent.
Yep.
But I digress.
Indeed. Okay, Nisi Poo said we need to stick together, but you work for the system. Heard that one before. But they ain't got their motherfucking hand out. I'm like, Ninja, didn't you forget that you accused me for working for the system, but you asking for my system money that my copper color ass got out and worked for to put in your hand. You forgot. You thought I forgot that shit. You mean that money? You ain't Aborigine enough. Oh, you too light. You too. Who the fuck are you? Your hair is curly. It ain't nappy enough. You can't tell me to get out of my feelings and vibrate high. Who you? Exactly, Nisi Poo. That's why I don't do the group shit. Because folks are full of shit. It's all these conditions to be in a gang. That's kid shit. What the fuck I need to be in a gang or a group for? I don't mind coming together with like-minded people. But I'm a little too old in the tooth for some motherfucking childish games. And that's exactly what that is. We see y'all for what it is. That shit is over with certain people. It's over. Y'all have created these groups to go run and hide. Hide from reality. And mainly men, since you all set the shit up, and then with the women that's mammying for you, that support you in that bullshit, so y'all could go live on fucking Fantasy Island. And ain't now one of them motherfuckers been successful. And they ain't gonna be successful. Because how the fuck you gonna run a group and talking about building a nation when you can't even run a successful family? You can't even run a successful you. Get the fuck out of here. Start with that. But yes, excellent point. MNFMC, the sleepy majority are bringing all humanity to totalitarian rule. We have to wake them up. We have to care that they got the what's her face. No, we don't have to do that, but I don't knock you if you're trying to do that, beloved. That's your plight. You do that. Because according to law, they are now transhuman and cannot benefit from any known law, so the blank will be the only ones with rights. So the un-hoochie coochie, shout out to Sis Sandra, that's what she named it, will be the only ones with rights.
That's because they're part of an experiment, and with the changes to their DNA and whatnot, they're not considered anything that's quote unquote normal or indigenous to hear.
Right. Right. When you all get a chance, if you can, I know it's gonna be long, it's gonna get on your nerves on some time, but go watch Under the Dome. It's 3 seasons. I finally finished it up. You can catch it for free on Pluto. Thanks, son Scotty. I could not think of that other free app. I'm like, I know it's not Peacock.
I know, because I was on Peacock and I was like, I know Under the Dome. I was searching. Then I was like, let me just look on Google. And then I was like, oh, it's because it's a P2.
yeah. Shoot, you know how us old folks do. Shit, be mixing stuff up. So yeah, it's on Pluto. Finally finished up. It's got everything in there, fam. I'm gonna wait a good 2 months to give everybody a chance to watch it, because I was gonna go through it this month, and I'm like, no, be fair, give everybody a chance to watch it, because it's got in there the reincarnation, how the crystals are used, how that dome is really operating. It has it all in there. Go give it a watch. Definitely go give it a watch. Okay, so let me get ready to put a disclaimer up, because my stuff, child, I'm finna tell y'all now. I had to go pull a meme, child, and I'm gonna keep this gonna be my disclosure meme when I'm on YouTube. And I'm probably gonna do this when I start, even on my podcast. I'm gonna use this meme, because if you sensitive, you might as well go on and head on out. Just go on and head on out right now, because the topic I'm finna get on, it's gonna hurt some feelings. Okay. Now again, I was chilling, minding my business. I wasn't even looking for this. Ran across it. I'm like, oh my God. We are going to talk about the Y chromosome. So again, go on and head out if you get sensitive. But I do have to give men that rock with this program, when I did that podcast on the Y chromosome, for the pretty much y'all took it like me, and you like, okay, I hope that's not the case. This, that, and the third. Much respect to y'all. So this gonna be one of them times, brother, but get ready. So my men that can handle it, that's why I rock with y'all. Because to put up with me, I know y'all some solid dudes. Because I don't be taking it easy on y'all ass at all. So I appreciate that. Okay, but I guess I don't have to appreciate it, because you like, shit, it don't apply to me. Or if it is, you take it for what it is and say, well, damn. So just want to give you your much respect. Those that's gonna piss, whine, and moan, oh, you this and that, I done told you, bruh, go on and head on out. You see SpongeBob getting the fuck up on out the chair? Go on and do that right now. Exit stage left. Because if you come, well, y'all gonna see it on the screen that way. Left. Because if you come in my comments with the bullshit, you ain't got to come in and say you unsubscribe, and I'm gonna help you the fuck out. Because I'm giving you the disclosure. Get the fuck on with the bullshit. Let's get into this. All right, I'll take SpongeBob off. Thank you, SpongeBob meme. All right.
All right, I'm gonna head out.
Yeah, right. Just go on and head out. I promise you, I'm gonna start using that shit. I got to put disclaimers.
You know something?
Go ahead.
People, this is a weird thing too, because I mean, we talk about energy and vibrations and polars, attractions, and electromagnetism and all this. And I realized that, like, people who are not vibrating high, they are drawn to us and to these people. And even though they hate the information, or they just feel so bothered by it, they gotta be there. They gotta be there to say something.
Child, I have had to block people. Oh, you so then why the fuck fuck are you here? Why are you here if I get on your nerves on a regular basis? Why the fuck are you in my shit? That's what be killing me.
You putting out lies and misinformation. You leading to the erasure of other people's history. You're
But
what?
Why is it your business though? Go start up your own channel and you know, counter whatever the fuck I'm saying. They be hot, mad, wanting to swing, and the dudes, oh, you so hurt. You're a feminist. You so.
I'm like it's
all
not
of
turn
this,
into
and still on
psychiatrist.
these motherfucking facts. I said what the fuck I said. Dispute these facts. All up in your feelings. Okay, so I done told you, go on and head on out. So here we go, y'all. I'm telling y'all, get ready. We're gonna go over timelines. And I'm gonna go over this timeline with the planet. Because what I'm gonna hit y'all with. All right, now I broke down and I got all of Stitchin's work. Now, do I agree with all of it? Because he was translating from the Sumerian text? No, because he slanted it. And he got some things wrong too. But that is why you use multiple sources. Okay? But I'm going to go over his timeline because it lines up with the timelines that we have heard from the other sources that also use the Sumerian text. Okay, so this particular one, this is from Stitchin's The 12th Planet. All right. So this way in the back of the book. And shout out to Brother Christopher again, because he brought this up. And I wasn't even going to use this, but then this information I'm going to drop on you that I so accidentally, and I know it wasn't an accident that I ran past it, saw that information. I said, oh, hell, I'm going to have to use this timeline, okay? Ciao. All right, so this is on page from out of the 12th Planet, Book 1 of Earth's Chronicles. This is on page 410. So, 445,000 years ago. Now, remember, Our Lady, Emily Windsor Craig, she said Anunnaki came to the planet 450,000 years ago. Okay? She also used Sumerian text. I know she used the Quran and a couple of other sources. So Stitchin said 445,000 years. I can live with that. The Nephilim, led by Enki, arrived on Earth from the 12th planet Eridu. Earth Station 1 is established in southern Mesopotamia. 430,000 years, the great ice sheets began to recede a hospitable climate in the Near East. 415,000 years ago, Enki moved inland, establishes Larsa. 400,000 years ago, the Great Interglacial Period spreads globally. Enlil, arrives on Earth, establishes Nippur as Mission Control Center. 360,000 years ago, the Nephilim established Bad Tabaria as their metallurgical center for smelting and refining. Okay. And then he said the city of the gods are built. 300,000.
Like when they be talking about the Bronze Age and the Iron Age and all that metallurgical.
Yeah, but that was before even those biblical ages.
Yeah, no, I'm saying the Bible got that from them.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, they did. They got the concept. That's concept of time comes from them. Absolutely. Okay. That was 360 years. 300,000 years. The Anunnaki mutiny. Man, the primitive worker, is fashioned by Enki and Ninhasag. That's where we gonna stop. Oh, wait a minute. Nope. 250,000 years. Early Homo sapiens multiply, spread to other continents. That's where we gonna stop. Let's get into this other information that I so happen to accidentally found. Now, I done told y'all to head on out, right? I gave the head on out disclaimer, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I just want to make sure. Because, see, when I cuss the MF on out, I want to be straight up fair. Okay, hold on a sec, fam.
Wait, this just reminded me of something real random, real quick. So I in my work, I had to do like I had to like deny somebody for fraud, and the person happened to be in Nigeria, and
but I was like, go ahead.
But this was what killed me though. And their name was Adamu.
Oh, I know you was tripping.
I was like, what?
Tainted ass, colonizing ass, bloodline ninja.
But I'm like, it's just perfect. It just makes sense. I mean, that bloodline, they still naming people that, and you're still scamming.
Because it's in their blood.
Right. I'm like, wow. And I would have never known, like, I wouldn't have, like...
You would have never known that. Now, you can't get none of this stuff past us now. We'd be like, what you say y'all name is? And y'all, everybody that know me, like, from back when we were on Blog Talk, everybody know that Idris Elba was my pretend husband. That was my man. I was, like, arguing with my aunt over the wire. I'm like, go on and have several seats. I was the only woman watching The Wire. Y'all wasn't even built like that. And now y'all want to come for Idris. No, that's my pretend husband. So I was doing some research one day. And ran across names of the Anunnaki. Why his name come up? You talking about my feelings was hot. I was hot. I had to divorce that nigga. I know that shit. I'm like, oh no, I can't do it. I can't do it. Yeah. Yep. When you know this shit, you be like, whoa. Yeah, that part.
Mm-hmm.
That part. So naming your babies after these biblical characters.
And you really know when it ain't the regular ones that people get named. You know, Jeremiah, some Gabriel. But when you talking about some Adamu, you some shit that's like back. Like
right, way back. You're like,
you had to really know what was up to.
What in your ancestors' genes made them name? Oh yeah, your ancestors about that life to name you that. But wait a minute though, brother Christopher, you still up in the chat? Oh, child, you gonna make me real quick read what he said, who Gabriel is. Let me see, did I put that in there? Well,
Gabriel,
you know who
that
Gabriel?
trumpet.
Guess who Gabriel baby mama is, y'all? Guess who Gabriel baby mama is?
Who?
According to the Quran.
Mary or something?
Yeah.
I don't know what the...
Jesus
oh, for real?
That's Gabriel is the father of Jesus. According to the Quran. Now, in the Quran, they say that he came down and blew into her private life. Now, I don't know about y'all, but where I come from, blink 75 times. He did what to my privates?
That's crazy.
Well, in the
Because
Bible, it did say that an angel came unto her. They just didn't. I think they did name him. And I think it was Gabriel.
I mean, how many ways can you say came? And then the Quran said, you know, old boy was messing with her privates. I said, wait a minute. You mean Gabriel is Jesus' pappy?
But all them texts originate from that same region.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that part. Mm-hmm. Getting baby mamas pregnant and all of that. Mm-hmm.
But my thing is, when they sit up and say that the Anunnaki created man to be slaves to instead of the other. I mean, like they said at first, he set up shop in Mesopotamia. Then, 50, 10,000, whatever amount of years later, he pop up here or in Leo or whoever pop up doing everything that they doing with the metals and this, that, or the other. I mean, didn't it have to be people there or something? I mean, because who gave the place the name?
Right.
They went from here to there. They landed here. Then after they done what they was doing there, they moved over to here. And they got names for the places. I mean, if everything was just barren and didn't have no names or nothing, how did they set up shop in the area called such and such? Unless it was something or somebody already there who had originally given it a name. I mean, I don't know. I'm just wondering. There's so much stuff that they leave out where you just have to read in between the lines.
Right. And that's why you have to use more than one source too.
Yeah, cross-referencing like a motherfucker.
Yeah, because it can't get no clearer. I mean, in the Bible's defense, it did say what the angels came to do. It literally said that. And people want to gloss past that like they don't remember what sex is. But I'm sorry, that part when, you know, Brother Christopher was saying up in the Bible, I'm like, he said he did what to her privates? And we not screwing? Yeah, okay. Where they do that at? So yeah, that one threw me back. But I didn't even know in the Bible that Gabriel was named specific regarding Mary. I didn't even know that he was named specifically. One of them L's starting shit as usual. All right, child. Okay, we getting here, child. Clutch pearls, clutch pearls. Now, where the article, Rhonda? Okay, let me minimize this. Do that. All right, here we go. Because I already told y'all, go ahead on and head on out. This is off of newscientist.com. The father of all men is 340,000 years old. Going back to the Anunnaki timeline. Stitchin puts the creation of the early Homo sapien at 250 and some change. Okay, but let's come on and run this on down. Let's see what they saying up in the little scientist situation. Okay, so when I told you ninjas that the woman, the XX, is the oldest, and y'all want to come on my motherfucking comments and get in your feelings, and I told you to dispute that science, and I have yet to hear it. Here we go.
You're a wicked woman.
Right. You feminists. You feminists. Albert Perry carried a secret in his DNA, a Y chromosome so distinctive that it revealed new information about the origins of our species. It shows that the last common male ancestor down the paternal line of our species is over twice as old as we thought. So they wasn't even trying to give y'all this 350,000 year worth of credit. One possible explanation is that hundreds of thousands of years ago, modern and archaic humans in Central Africa interbred, adding to known examples of interbreeding with Neanderthals in the Middle East and the Enigma Denisovans somewhere in South. Okay, thank you. You know my country ass. Say it again, son.
Denisovan.
Thank you. Denisovans somewhere in Southeast Asia. Blink 75 times.
Mm-hmm.
Blink another 75 times. Again, two separate bloodlines from North America and Africa and Asia. North America, the folks were 450,000 years ago. There's folks already in North America. Over in Africa, a Y chromosome was found. And what were they doing? Interbreeding with Neanderthals in the Middle East and Southeast Asia. So right there, they're even giving you 3 bloodlines right here. An African bloodline, a Neanderthal, and what you say it is, son Scotty?
Denisovan
In Asia.
Mm-hmm. Troglodytes. They just all in the caves. They fucking the fucking Bigfoots. They mixing genes with fucking fish and shit. Don't forget the fish.
75 times. Blink 75 times.
Yeah, Lex will be going in on this though. Them different bloodlines and the hybridization over there, and them North Africa, Asia.
We're gonna continue though. Perry, recently deceased, was an African American who lived in South Carolina. A few years ago, one of his female relatives submitted a sample of his DNA to a company called Family Tree DNA for genealogical analysis. Geneticists can use such samples to work out how we are related to one another. Hundreds of thousands of people have now had their DNA tested. The data from the test has shown that all men gain their Y chromosome I told y'all to head on out now. But we're going to go back into another book and talk about the North American genealogy. Don't get too nervous, men. I know y'all sweating like a hooker in church. I know you're sweating like a hooker in church. The data from these tests has shown that all men gain their Y chromosome from a common male ancestor. This genetic Adam lived between 60 and 140,000 years ago. Let me sip my water. So when I keep saying, y'all may want to rethink how you're linking your bloodline back to that Bible, because you cannot be both. Well, technically you can be both. I mean, you can be mixed with both. So you can't have North American bloodline and then in your family it was mixed with this other bloodline.
But you can't be mixing the doctrine. You got to know that even if you're in that shit, this is what's real. Like the timeline, this is what's real. So believe what you want, but this is what's real.
So when you want to say that everybody is linked back to Adam, do you understand what you're saying? When you say everything happened over here, do you understand what you're saying? But we fixing it to continue. All men except Perry, that is, when family DNA's technicians tried to place Perry on the Y chromosome family tree, they just couldn't. His Y chromosome was like no other so far analyzed. Deeper Roots, Michael Hammer, a geneticist at the University of Arizona in Tucson, heard about Perry's unusual Y chromosome and did some further testing. And also, I want to just stop and note, it's no surprise to me that dude was in South Kakalaki, because we know what went on in South Carolina. What group of people migrated in drones to South Carolina?
Mm-hmm.
Huguenots.
Mm-hmm. Were those Caucasian Huguenots or
Melanated.
Mm-hmm.
Okay then.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay then. Okay, so this is why you have to look at things for the way it is. I don't find this any coincidence that a black man, melanated man who lived in South Carolina, DNA ties back to that region as having one of the oldest, not one of the, well, they said according to them, the oldest male Y chromosome on the planet.
But nobody in his family, just him.
Blink 75 times. Blink 75 more times. We're going to continue, though. His team's research revealed something extraordinary. Perry did not descend from the genetic Adam. Excuse me. In fact, his Y chromosome was so distinct that his male lineage probably separated from all others about 338,000 years ago. Blink 75 times. Let me go back and refresh y'all memory up in this book. 12th planet. So what they say? 338,000. Okay, so what was happening around that time? So 360,000 years. They talk about the Nephilim setting up their little centers for smelting metals and building the cities of the gods. That was 360 years ago. And then 300,000 years ago, the Anunnaki mutiny, the man, the primitive worker, is fashioned by Enki and Ninhursag. So between, we going to give the benefit of the doubt between those two time periods. So that means that Y had to either come from the pure Nephilim line, or that Y was a mixture or genetic engineering of the Anunnaki. But we fencing to continue. We're fencing to continue. All right. It's a cool discovery, says John Wilkins of the Ronin Institute in Montclair, New Jersey. We geneticists have been looking at the Y chromosome about as long as we've been looking at anything. We know. Changing where the root of the Y chromosome tree is at this point extremely surprising. Not to us. Digging deeper, Hammond's team examined an African database of nearly 6,000 Y chromosomes and found similarities between Perry's and those in samples taken from 11 men, all living in one village in Cameroon. I actually know people in Cameroon. Which is West Africa. This may indicate where in Africa Perry's ancestors hailed from. So all of you ADOS people that's trying to tell everybody else where they came from, yeah. For folks calling, I'm sorry, go ahead, Brother Sean.
A database of nearly 6,000 people, and somehow they saying we all came from Africa, and you barely got 6,000 people's chromosomes that you testing this shit by.
ADOS, you want to explain that?
That account for the whole planet, them 6,000 people, and what about 11 all living in one village? Is that why everybody think they all from the same place in Africa? Because 11 people in a village in Cameroon is responsible for the world's population of melanated people.
Let's continue. Older than humanity. The first, y'all know what I'm trying to say. Modern human fossils date back only 195 years. 195,000 years. Let me check. So between that time period, they are saying 200,000 years. Life on Earth regressed during new glacial period, and that's 200,000 years. And then 100,000 years, climate warms again. The sons of gods take to the daughters of men as wives.
It says, does that glacier time align with when Nebaru hit Mama?
No, because if the Anunnaki came 450,000 years ago, I'm assuming that's when Mama got jumped.
Yeah, but I think they had been here for a while, if I'm remembering back to Emily's thing.
But I think that it froze over. So remember, part of her froze over when she got jumped. So that would make sense from the time period of 450,000 years. she started to warm back up. So that makes sense. But if they're saying that the first modern human fossils date back only 195 years ago, so Perry's Y chromosome lineage split from the rest of humanity long before our species appeared. So in their timeline, in the Anunnaki's timeline, between 195 years, I'm going to use the mark of 200,000 years, life on Earth regressed during new glacial periods. 100,000 years, climate warms again. The sons of gods take the daughters of men as wives.
Must have been a reset.
Yeah, that's a good point. It could have been a reset in between that time period. Okay, but did y'all catch that they was those elves was mating with who they're calling the women, the daughters of man as wives? Let's continue. Which would make sense why Jesus' pappy is Gabriel. That one messed me up, y'all. That one straight messed me up. All right, so again, if that's the case, then sometime within the last 195,000 years, modern humans interbred with an ancient African human. There is some supporting evidence for this scenario. In 2011, researchers examined human fossils from a Nigerian site called Ilero. I guess that's Iwo Ilero. The fossils showed a strange mix of ancient and modern features, which also suggested interbreeding between modern and archaic humans. The Cameroon village, with an unusual genetic signature, is right on the border with Nigeria. And the Iwo Ilero is not too far away. Chris Stringer at the Natural History Museum of London was involved in the two Ilero analysis and says the new Y chromosome result highlights the need for more genetic data from modern day sub-Saharan Africans. The oldest known fossil in humans in both West Africa at Ilero and Central Africa at Ashango in the Dominican Republic of Congo show unexpectedly archaic features. So it certainly looks like we have a more complex scenario for the evolution of modern humans in Africa. This is from New Scientist. The father of all men is 340,000 years old. Okay, we just lined this up with the timeline out of them Sumerian text. Okay, so you Bible folks and you ADOS folks. Okay, now let's go back to this is Path to Orion, Earthly Route to Peace with Justice by Emily Windsor Craig. You can download this book for free. She wants you to via PDF. You can Google it and download it. You can also get it on Google. All right. So remember, she was the one that said the Anunnaki came 450,000 years ago to the planet. And when they came here, it was already people here in North America. When they came here, it was already people here in North America. That does not include an Adam bloodline. We just gave you the timeline for the Adam bloodline. Y chromosome, y'all done been remixed. The dope has been remixed. 340,000 years. Now, couple of possibilities here. Now remember, men, I done already told you to head on out. I gave you that warning. Was that when the Y chromosome hit the planet totally? Was it? So when the invasion happened 450,000 years ago, or if you say 440,000 years ago, and Enki came with his crew, was that when the Y chromosome hit the planet? That's one possibility. Or the other possibility is in North America, it's a totally separate genopool. And it made me think about Emily Windsor Craggs, what she said, and son Scotty, you're going to remember this. This is on page 16.
And then Brother Chris, about that, Gabriel was a Gigi in the memory of Sis Sandra.
Yeah, because Sis Sandra, yo, a Gigi knocked up Mary. He knocked up Mary, sis. He made her a single mom. Some of 'em a bitch. So she gonna get a kick out of that because she loved talking about them in Gigi.
Mm-hmm.
Child, they zapped me. All right, but we fencing to get back on this. So like I said, couple of possibilities. Did the Y chromosome hit the planet 340,000 years ago? So meaning when the Anunnaki Enki came here, set up shop, and they started creating. Is that when the Y chromosome hit the planet? That's the first possibility. Other one, remember on page 16 of Path to Orion, Earthly Route to Peace with Justice by Emily Windsor Cragg, talk about gender roles. When Anunnaki arrived here 450,000 years ago, they practiced strictly binary gender roles. However, they encountered indigenous people here who recognize and acknowledge more than two genders, especially tribes in North America. There, the belief was socialized that to maintain harmony, there must be a balance, interrelationship between the feminine and the masculine within the individual, in the family, in the culture, and in the natural world. The irony of Anunnaki social memes consists of fights and conflicts. They were embroiled in over dysfunction in marriage and the helpless role of women in their society even then. Although they married for eternity, their society was filled with the R word, illegitimate, illegitimate babies, and divorce. The Lost Book of Enki is full of their personal and intimate struggles and inability to get along with each other. So, I just want to say once again, when the Anunnaki arrived here 450,000 years ago, they practiced a strict binary code. You know that 1 and that 0? You know that black and that white? You know that male and that female? However, they encounter indigenous people. I'm sorry, go ahead, son Scotty. What you say?
Oh, no, I just wanted to say the binary is part of the terraforming.
Absolutely. So Y chromosome, Y chromosome. Blink 75 times, blink 75 times. 340,000 years ago. That's when they clock you as first hitting the planet. Because the indigenous people, they recognize something more than two genders. It wasn't this male, female shit. Because remember, XX, remember I told you to go on and head on out if this gonna hurt some feelings. XX is the oldest on this planet. XX, and they're showing you on this screen. This is the X. You see how much bigger that X is? This, I guess that's the Y. This just simple genetics and science that y'all don't even want to accept this. Here is what she shows that North American, the indigenous people of North America, 450,000 years ago, they didn't know nothing about this Y shit y'all talking about. They knew nothing about that. They didn't have strife in their communities. They didn't, let me just read what they said. Anunnaki fights, conflict, dysfunction in marriage, helpless role of women in their societies. Although they marry for eternity, who the F want to be married to you for eternity with all this dramatization that you bring? Their society was filled with the R word. Illegitimate babies? And divorce. So on page 16, she shows you what the indigenous people concept of what they're calling gender. And then you see the Anunnaki's concept, which is black and white. And when we brought this up before, we told you that the concept of binary is flawed. We told you that it was flawed. We told you that it's supposed to be about wholeness, not binary.
Which is duality.
Exactly. So I just wanted to bring that to y'all. So men, y'all got something to seriously think about. Because even if you're indigenous, you're still carrying a Y chromosome. I literally did a podcast telling you all that that Y chromosome, not what I said, it has a genetic expiration date on it. And it declines over time. This makes perfect sense to me. Men, it's time for you to really dig in your soul and be honest with yourself and have some serious conversations. You don't have to have them with me. You don't have to have them with the women. You don't even have to have them with other men. Have them with your damn self. Because this bullshit y'all talking, it's going nowhere. It will go nowhere. The patriarch has brought us nothing but straight up pure hell. So you can keep bullshitting yourself. You can run around the corner, up the block, all of that. It is what it is. XX is the oldest on the planet. You can only suppress the organic natural for so long. And those of you XX that want to rock with them, you can go on and be with them and go on about y'all lonesome. But this is cleanup time. And all of this bullshit, it has to go. It is going to be going. So men, you better dig deep down in your soul and really get your shit together. And especially melanated men. You got a lot of karmic debt. A lot. Because you were the first. That means you were the first suppressor of women. You were the first colonizers. You were the first enslavers. You were the ones that instituted patriarch, not the white man, you. And don't think the white man ain't got his karmic debt coming. But melanated man, I have been warning you all for years. I done took and told you, you ain't finna get back on top of nothing, none of that. This ain't our first time going over the genetics of XX and XY. This particular article, they just put some years behind it, and them years you mean so happen to line up with them Sumerian text? We told y'all this stuff is deep. So it's up to you. You can believe or not believe. It doesn't matter to me. But just know, karma is in full effect. So ain't no need you whining. Ain't no need you cussing me out, calling me this and a that and a bitter and this. Dispute the science. Go scream that to the feminine planet, how her daughters have mistreated you. I would not motherfucking recommend that. I'm just saying. Go scream that to the feminine planet that you reside on. On how you treat her. How you treat the women that bring you forth through their womb. I fucking dare you. But keep on being delusional. 340,000 years. Why? Indigenous men of North America, don't sit and bullshit yourself. Don't sit and bullshit yourself. Don't sit there and get any grandiose ideas in your head that you finna be running some shit. Because you are solely responsible for the conditions that we are in. I lay that solely in your motherfucking lap. And then some of you want to run around here talking about you some indigenous, but then in the next breath, you want to complain about everything, taking care of your children, this, that, and the other. Why? Why chromosome? Because when you whine, I hear, why motherfucking chromosome? That's what the fuck I hear. I hear that you are not fit, nor you deserve not only not to be fathers, you don't even fucking deserve to be on the planet. And I stand by what I say. I said what the fuck I said. And this is why. This is why. This is why. It's up to you. Get your shit together or get eliminated. And I can't guarantee that you ain't gonna be eliminated. Because according to science, your why has an expiration date on it. Why? So are you really getting your shit together to maybe clean up the gene pool? To bring your lineage, your legacy into something that is survivable, into a healthy, whole situation? Or do you want to sit and bullshit, shoot dice, drink, call yourself mind fucking women into your fuckery? Because that ain't gonna lead you nowhere but being eliminated along with the XX that's dumb enough to rock with you with that bullshit. So why, the next time you want to formulate your motherfucking thoughts to say what a woman should do, sit your 340,000-year-old ass, defective looking gene the fuck down. Get your shit together. Clean up your blood. Clean up your cellular structure. Get in tune. You not fit to tell anyone a motherfucking thing. Get your shit together. Because you already got karmic debt. All right, so that ends this portion of the program. All right. That's that. All right, fam. Let's get into where are we at with time? We're pretty good. All right, let me bring on brother 832. Okay, he should be unmuted. Okay, brother 832, you should be unmuted.
Rhonda!
Hey, brother.
Sandra! My sisters from other misters! Feathers up!
Feathers up, brother.
United Snakes of America down! Sean, my brother, from another mother, sitting on Mount Olympus, throwing them black lightning bolts down tonight.
Indeed, bro.
And going around the center of the Milky Way galaxy, turning up in the neighborhood, running behind Nibiru to land on the rings of Saturn, Scotty Youngblood, what up, though?
What's up? What's up? Peace and love.
Okay, let me see if I have some clarity from some foot in ass I just heard. Now, can I be clear in understanding in that article, if I'm not mistaken, I did bother to bring a Dappa from the dead last week. I believe the timeline in question was 113,000 to 59,000 years ago. Am I in error? I think we kind of brought that to a nub last week. If I did not hear you, but if I did not hear you correctly in that article, they said 120 to 60,000 years was the range.
Let me go back.
You may have to go back to that and look at that, but I think I heard you mention that.
We finna to be real clear. Let me go back to what the article said.
60 to 140,000.
Okay, let me bring it up.
Because if I heard him state that as the so-called origin point, then we've already laid that groundwork last week when we talked about the 54,000 years of Adapa. Okay, that's one thing.
The genetic Adam lived between 60 and 140,000 years, so that lines up with Adam's bloodline, but that's still not the oldest.
No. They want to say Adam. Remember what we said supposedly was stated by Enki. Adam didn't procreate shit. Now, if they're talking about the genetic material of Adam was used by Ninma, who was the geneticist that was cooking it up in the lab, or is it the big head motherfucker Yaqub, according to the Nation of Islam? I mean, I don't know. But anyway. If I understood correctly, that does almost match to our discussion last week of the Adapa timeline of 113,000 to 59,000 years ago, correct?
Yes.
Now, in the understanding of that, let's put it in the 350,000 range, supposedly, of the South Carolina blood. Is that what you said? South Carolina Broham supposedly is unique and apart, and separate and apart. It's always interesting to me how they separate shit out. That's either convenient. Yeah, right. I said, round it up in that 350,000 range. Okay, so that's 100,000 years of Enki being here with who? You see. So it's interesting to me. Now, we have to go back, of course, to the Lost Book of Enki and talk about, remember we said when we were breaking it down last week, the 92 Shars before the birth of Adapa and the 93rd Shar?
Yes.
What was this promiscuous community dick you said was doing for 92 years? What was it? Was he fucking? Was he fucking? What, Planet of the Apes? Sheep? All other kinds of, I know what. I mean, he was here by himself till who else came? Remember, the only people that other came were men, meaning a Gigi, other so-called slaves, if you want to use that term, who were doing mining, terraforming, digging up shit for 300,000 years. I mean, I don't know, until they cooked up in a lab. Now, maybe I'm mistaken here, but let me try, because I need to go back to the Lost Book of Enki. They had bed winches. I may be wrong. Help me out, Sean, but did they not have a group of women, whether you want to call them nursemaids, that came with Ninma? And we have to kind of put this side by side on our timeline that we're developing here, Rhonda.
See, now I can't.
He was slinging.
Wrong, but go ahead. I see what we're talking 300 motherfucking thousand. I'm speculating like a motherfucker. I'm confused. I'm okay. I'm with you now.
But somehow, somewhen, maybe I should say, and certainly somewhere, and it ain't over here. It ain't in Turtle Island, but somewhere on the so-called dark continent.
Remember? Everything.
No. Hold on. I'm giving him his article.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm giving him his article because the one motherfucker in South Carolina he's trying to claim is latched to Africa. Okay, but then at the same time gonna claim his genetic marker deviated some 300 motherfucking 50,000 years ago here on Turtle Island. Okay, so like I said, I'm confused as fuck. All right. But anyway, somehow, somewhere, and somewhen, Ninma came with a harem of bitches, you feel me? That were used as incubators.
I thought of that.
And the only
Continue.
successful fetus was a Dappa 113,000 years ago, right?
I'm
I mean,
with
I
you.
don't know.
Mhm.
I'm just
I'm
all right.
with you.
So
I'm
that's
with you, blood.
that's a whole lot of mistaken fetuses, aborted or not, until you got shit right. Would you think?
Right.
And whose community dick was that? Because
Baby.
Enlil didn't play that shit. If you remember,
Joe did, and
Enlil
Lil
was
didn't
Yahweh.
believe in
Enlil,
He didn't believe in
Enlil was
swirling.
married for life, supposedly, as
Now
you
that
did.
ain't gonna say
Married
he wasn't
for
messing
life.
around, but
No,
yeah, continue.
I'm just saying. Okay, they say. I mean, I heard them, they, whoever those are, say this motherfucker Enlil, his title meant commander of Earth.
Yes.
Okay. Now, he was supposedly the upright, upstanding, quote unquote, righteous individual,
He was a
while
shit
Inky
starter,
is
but go ahead.
repeatedly reported as being a promiscuous motherfucker, isn't it? I mean, this is
That is true.
and remember, this is him telling his story. The Lost Book of Inky is Inky's autobiography.
It sure is.
Now, how much dick must you be slinging when you say you're a promiscuous motherfucker?
You slinging a lot.
I mean, I'm just asking
No,
because if you
right,
remember,
man.
he authorized N-Dub-Sar to be the scribe from the beginning of the Lost Book of Inky.
Yeah.
Okay, so in other words, this is him telling on himself, correct?
Yep.
And didn't he try to fuck his half sister, Ninma? Wasn't he in a love? Wasn't that the whole running love triangle through the entire story of him trying to impregnate Ninma with a male heir?
It's nasty.
That's for another side story. That's for another side
Just
story. But I mean, I'm
nasty,
just
but
saying.
Go ahead.
Well, no, I'm confused, and I'm just asking. Okay, so we have incest, intermarrying, interbreeding, and isn't that what's going on in the monarchy to this very day in 2021? Isn't that what the so-called blue blood?
Yeah.
The whole notion of blue blood ancestry.
Oh yeah.
I said ancestry, not ancestry.
You a mess. Oh yeah.
Behavior. Okay, so now
argue with you.
for 300 motherfucking thousand years, he's digging up rocks, cutting down silicon trees, terraforming the planet. He got a motherfucking gang, a horde of EGGs, the Gabriels, the Azraels, the Raphaels, the whoever else, Samael.
Right.
Okay, so all of these motherfuckers are running around with fucking who?
Slinging ping. Right.
Quote unquote, daughters of men. Now, are these daughters of the men that have been created? Because remember, Adapa ain't been created till 113,000 years, 330,000 years after Inky first stepped foot on terra firma.
Right. Right. His funk ass. But go ahead.
As they espoused women, that's just Marduk, his son, leader of the Ajiji, rocking up on Mars, mining, digging up gold, because they need gold dust to fix the fucking ozone hole on Nibiru, right?
This destroyed.
Okay. I'm just repeating some shit I heard. I mean, I don't know. So, 350,000 years ago, this errant genetic marker, Y chromosome. Oh, and by the way, before I forget, if you haven't seen on Netflix, there is a series called Y: The Last Man.
Oh, already on it.
Check it out when you check.
Yeah. I'm
okay.
So everything, baby.
So this blood in South Carolina just happens to coincidentally the Geechee Gullah island chain, which they want to keep trying to convince us they're out of Africa.
Right.
Okay, the Geechee Gullah, North and South Carolina. The first tragic invasion of us from Virginia, so-called Virginia Company, and all of that English territorial toxic masculinity shit. Okay, so now this one Negro in South Carolina that they just randomly got his junk from family tree DNA. Is that what I heard you say in that article?
Yeah, that's what they said.
One motherfucker who just happened to die, what, 100+ years old? How many of these elderly black people are you seeing now? Remember crazy ass Willis Scott on NBC News, morning news, used to always tell you that smoker shit, happy 100 and shit. Notice we ain't getting reports of all these elders, melanated elders. And if you remember, that one sister went up there in the White House of Obama. Okay? If you remember how they even tried to do a little, little running man with her in the Oval Office.
Right.
We don't hear the reports of these elders that are in their hundreds and teens, 110, 115.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
None of their genetic material is being studied, being allocated. We got the largest criminal enterprise that literally sits on our doorstep, stole the state of Utah, has billions and billions of records the world over. The so-called Church of Latter-day Saints, in case you didn't know who I'm talking about. They told us a nigga ain't shit can't come in my congregation as late as the 1970s into the 1980s. And according to a report that Dane just released on one of his latest videos, they now are all of a sudden saying they're going to make accessible Freedmen Bureau records. That's already free. Okay. But they all of a sudden going to release 3.5 million records, quote unquote, for free. Okay. But the shit that's still on lock under this Great Salt Lake in the motherfucking vaults down in the caverns, we can't get a peek of that shit. And again, I don't care about them. You're right on one level, roundabout. Not so much blaming the white man. I'm not going to subscribe to all kinfolk ain't skinfolk, and all skinfolk ain't kinfolk. Okay, I've asked this repeatedly. In my way, there is the American Negro and there's the motherfucking African Negro. And it wasn't because those Spanish conquistador bastards called Negro, because that's what the word is in Spanish, Negro, because they had some Negro motherfuckers bring them over here and said, there's some other Negroes. Just because you look like some bitch, as you said, some bitch, don't make you that some bitch.
Right.
Okay. And as I have said repeatedly, and I continue every week, I'm original. Copy that, motherfucker. Okay. So all this shit that I'm hearing is some copy shit. Okay. Now, I don't have, I can't stand on the authority on what makes me unique and what might be the truth of my genetic heritage, lineage, or supposed Y chromosome.
Right.
But I can almost assure you this, that any dilution along the timeline is through trauma, rape, terrorism, and genocide. You feel what I'm saying? So I'm not going to ascribe nor take blame nor credit for some other motherfucking shit, if you get my drift. Okay? So now, continuing on this timeline discussion, like I said, I tried to assist you in last week just to set up a pattern. Interesting how, whether this was by happenstance or accident, that this article crossed your radar, and it may only because we had our discussion last week. It became something that was magnetized and got drawn towards you. The fact still remains: all of this shit is offshore, past the Atlantic Ocean or the Pacific Ocean. Remember we made joke about Kong versus Godzilla? You notice how they only have some warped, sick, demented type, distorted, prehistoric. Interesting how to use that term too. Prehistoric and dinosaurs and shit. Is in Asia, or actually it's Eurasia to be more accurate, right? Because Europe ain't separate from motherfucking Asia. And Africa. Okay? Dogging out toe-to-toe a ape-like primate versus a reptilian fucking dragon. We aren't in that, are we? We are nowhere in the mix on that, isn't it?
Mm-mm.
Interesting. You know, and when you actually look at our terra firma animal life, isn't it more harmonious? Let's use the example of the bison, which they tried to fucking exterminate, and it has come back from the brink of extinction.
Oh, that's
right?
good. I didn't know that. Okay.
The girl, and should I even give Ted Turner credit for that shit? Because he sure want to brag on it.
Yeah, don't he?
Him and his wayward hippie bitch Jane Fonda. Okay, but anyway.
Okay, but go ahead.
Do you?
Go ahead.
But I'm just saying, you know, I mean, that's what they say. But anyway, the bison was the most efficient and all comprehensive life form, if you want to use it such, in the entire existence of our, if you want to use the term prehistoric, or is it pre-Columbian, which is more accurate to say, pre-invasion, I guess, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
That each and every part of the buffalo, or we call the bison, was effective, productive, and useful. Did you know that?
Mm-hmm.
And did you know that is also the symbol of the Department of Interior of this criminal enterprise called the United Snakes? Well, I call it the United Snakes of the America. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So when we have these, you go use that or the so-called indigenous American eagle, which is nowhere else on the planet. And you cannot even conceive of how it operates and functions in its soaring capacity above all other, you know, birds, predators, etc. You know? But when we can't seem to understand truly dealing with self, you feel me? When we're continuously compared to others. And that's what I mean by my comment about I'm original, you can't copy me. And I'm not copying you. Okay? There's no hate. There's not hate in what I'm expressing. It's a fact. There's no more or less a fact of the biological existence. You're either dead or alive, right? Isn't that a simple fact? Mm-hmm. Now, I know people will argue about some level of differenceness, like, you know, when you start talking about reincarnation, when you talk about our energy beings, because we do know the simple physics statements of energy is neither created nor destroyed, it's transformed. Okay? But in this physical package of what we think to be our physical experience, we're a human being or we're spiritual or a soul having a physical experience, then which is the energy component? The soul, the spirit, or the flesh? You feel me? Because the flesh can decay, right? Mm-hmm. Like all that sand, all that silica residue.
Yep.
Now, is it dead or are the stumps still alive? And I guess the stumps would be, remember I asked you about the word mesa and a plateau and all them flat top motherfuckers that you see that you think is a mountain and shit. Mm-hmm. Is that live or is it dead? Is not a crystalline form and crystals constantly evolving? And aren't they alive at a different level than other minerals like magnesium, calcium, sodium, potassium? How do crystals exist? You feel me? And I'm not talking about this Eastern mysticism shit that, you know, Becky and Karen and, you know, these transcendental meditating mofos that all think that they've all of a sudden gotten brilliant because they've gone and exposed themselves to somebody else's shit. Then they come back and package it. What do they call that? Do they call that culture vultures? Mm-hmm. People who do shit like that, you know? And then you, Johnny come lately, just arrived up on the set and you know more shit than the people who've been here tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of years. But just because your raggedy ass ain't been here 2 centuries, your shit don't stink. You know, what a Big Mama used to tell us when you got them pubic hairs and them underarms, them first little 2 curly cues that come out. Oh, you smelling yourself, huh? Remember that shit? I know you remember that phrase. Mm-hmm. You smelling yourself, huh? You young bastards. You ain't even been here 1,000 years. And you think because you stole from the most ancient people on the planet, ripped off 500 years of free labor, leapfrog on the back and at the expense of dead bodies hanging from, what is that, strange fruit that Billie Holiday tells us about?
Mm-hmm.
Hanging from tree. And you gonna say what? Thumping your chest and stretching yourself out and saying that you're the most superior being based on what? So I'm still trying to understand, what do you think the motive and the narrative of this article is? I have just a little bit of a kind of a reference on that, but what do you think?
Sir.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Sir.
Yes, ma'am.
I made it clear what the motive. 340,000 years ago was the trace of the Y chromosome.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask you one more time. Is it the community slinging promiscuous dick motherfucker, or is it Enlil Yahweh the God concept that we've been taught through the Bible of Adamu, had life breathed into him by Yahweh, Jehovah? You feel what I'm saying? The Genesis creation story. So where the hell does Adamu come in this narrative when he could not procreate according to the Lost Book of Enki? So then how did his
340,000 years ago the Y chromosome can be traced? Blink 75
again, I'm asking.
times.
Blink 75 times.
So what do you mean? What's the motive of this article?
So again, is it inky, promiscuous spread? What's that other narrative? The myth of, you remember Johnny Appleseed? Do you remember that story? That cartoon story that you tell us?
Let's stick to Inky, Binky, Linky. Now.
That's a promiscuous motherfucker. Didn't Johnny Appleseed spread a whole lot of motherfucking seeds? Is supposed to have created all the apple orchards in North America, in Turtle Island?
But so why are you asking me what's the motive of this article?
To complete the narrative. Blink 75 times, she says. So to complete the mythological out of Africa narrative that all seed, quote unquote, because again, remember, we're implying the Y chromosome and the sperm is the seed, right?
Okay, I'm going to stop.
And we've already been told that.
Sir.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Don't give a damn about the out of Africa. 340,000 years ago is when the Y chromosome hit the planet.
Okay. So again, if you're stating it the way that you stated it, then it is in the midpoint.
I'm stating it. This is what the article
is
saying.
Article said, yeah, I got you. Well, but okay. Why is it they going to continue to try to tax this South Carolina brother that had his supposed divergent in his genetic makeup 340,000 years ago, like you said, but still trying to tie him to Africa?
Sir. Who migrated in drones to South Carolina?
Who migrated? You said who migrated in droves to South Carolina? Yes. Oh, you talk about the Treaty of Peace and Friendship, and I am not your Negro, Moorish, under the control and authority of the so-called Sultan of Morocco. Is that what you're saying?
The Huguenots. So
something along those lines.
Exactly. So if you want to tie them to the Moorish Empire, that's fine. Sir, okay. This is about the Y chromosome hitting the planet, and I'm being country, 340,000 years ago.
Which implies that the Inky story about 100,000 years in is when he started community dick spreading. If we're to draw a parallel here.
And if he was community dick
as
spreading,
you just said,
he was spreading that Y chromosome. If he was community dick spreading, he was spreading that Y chromosome. Correct? Blink 75
Oh, I'm not
times.
I'm
Blink
I
75
blinked
times.
75 times, she said. I'm not disagreeing with you, Rhonda. What I'm suggesting is, again, there is our genetic material that is older, predates 500,000 years, that is purposely not being studied on Turtle Island. That's all the point that I was making.
Right.
So I get what you're saying.
Okay.
I'm saying those notions that are being presented in this article is to reinforce the current narrative of Out of Africa. Remember now, this umbrella shit that's going on with Jane Elliott and
we
all these other
with
people.
This. We done with this, brother. I can't take no more because you're trying to be on the slick. You know you my dude, but I'm just not having it tonight because I was very, very clear. I was very, very specific. I gave you the two alternatives, and you're trying to talk me in circles.
No, Rhonda, again, regardless of how you perceive what I'm saying, I'm stating something, and I'm saying it without their supposed authority. It doesn't have authority. I get what you're saying. I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying or you're imparting. I'm talking about what I feel, not just feel, whether I get facts on my side to prove it or not. I'm saying to you that I said,
I ain't with that bullshit tonight. I made it pretty clear. See, this be the shit that I be motherfucking talking about. That be the very motherfucking shit I'm talking about. I was crystal motherfucking clear. I gave both alternatives. This is why I say, men, you are being put on notice. This is why the fuck I said what I said. Because you don't want to take shit for face value. If you have a Y chromosome, you need to be taking fucking inventory. Point blank, period. I was crystal fucking clear. I went through the timelines. I lined the shit up with the Anunnaki them, Inky Binky them. I was literally crystal fucking clear, literally and figuratively. The father of all men is 340,000 years ago. If you carry that Y chromosome, you better be doing some inventory. You ain't got to waste my time about what they trying to claim up in here. I done already went up over there. Don't gaslight me. Don't do it. And this is why the fuck the black community is in the motherfucking state that it's in. Because you niggas want to bury your motherfucking head in the sand and have cognitive dissonance. I literally laid it out to you with the timeline. I literally gave you the alternative coin that if you are indigenous North America, still got to consider because you carry the Y chromosome. This is the very shit I'm talking about. And you men want to sit up and play this whining ass motherfucking game? Oh. Let me play the motherfucking violin for you bitches. Because I'm sick of you motherfucking whining. Let me play this shit. We was invaded. The white man is keeping us down. Not the fucked up patriot system that you rocked with. Oh, not that. Not the one that you niggas still trying to rock with, whether or not you say you're indigenous. The white man. The white man. Let me play this shit again. Let me play it again. The white man. He colonized us. We're over it. We don't want to hear that motherfucking bullshit no more. We're done with it. Get your shit together or be purged. Black men across the planet, that's including American Indian indigenous men, you have a karmic debt. You allowed a patriarch system to be perpetuated across the planet from invaders. You allowed for the women and the children to be colonized for 450,000 years. So I don't want to hear your pissing, moaning, and whining. You hold that Y chromosome, you better do some serious reflection. No amount of gaslighting. No amount of what women are bitter, this, that, and the other. Women have every right to be bitter. Like I didn't set up here and took and told y'all. They have every right to be bitter. It's over. It's deeper than the black woman being pissed at you. If you hold this Y chromosome, you better be doing some serious reflection. It don't matter what you think somebody else's motive is. So do with it what you will. Bottom line is you are on a feminine planet. That XX predates you. You could just look at this simple picture. Which is the dominant gene in this picture? This don't even look like a fucking Y.
Right. X-Men.
Which was really women.
Women. Right. That's the flip on it.
Exactly. Which was really women. I am bringing this to you, men. And this is really for all men. But specifically melanated men. Since you want to say you were the oldest, which absolutely you were the oldest. You ain't older than that XX. You ain't older than that black woman. That Y came in 340,000 years ago. This is serious business. Get your shit together. Do you not understand that the shape the black community is in getting worse and worse and worse and worse? You all don't think it has anything to do with this Y chromosome? You don't have to think that. We're not accepting any excuses anymore. And the planet certainly isn't accepting any excuses anymore. So again, the father of all men is 340,000 years ago. Okay? So it
But
is what
who
it is.
created that man? You hear me, sis?
Yeah, I'm with you.
No, I'm just asking who created that man. I mean, is it that the indigenous goddess created man as we were told, or is it according to this article that it's because of Inky and them?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if it was two sets of men created.
Because if
Right,
it
because I
were,
was thinking like it had to be.
To be honest, I don't think that it was a concept of men like we know today in North America. I don't think that it was. I really don't.
because she said at the beginning when the Anunnaki first came here and implemented that binary system,
Right.
wasn't there men already here?
I don't mind rereading it.
No, I'm just wondering because she said that we knew more than that binary thing, you know, as
Let me
far as for
reread
just
it.
man and woman.
That's what I get for. Okay, here it is. It's on page 16, y'all. This is Path to Orion, Earthly Route to Peace with Justice. 16, gender roles. When Anunnaki arrived here 450,000 years ago, they practiced strict binary gender roles. However, they encountered indigenous people here who recognize more than two genders.
Right. So that means that it was male, quote unquote female, and what other category they were giving it in. So I'm just saying, then in some aspect, unless all indigenous people were XX, irregardless to masculine or
That's
feminine.
what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's all I was trying to get clarity.
That's what I'm saying.
Because we know that they always try to take credit for everything the divine feminine does.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. I think it was XX. And that gender roles were, quote, quote, and it actually wasn't even gender roles.
Because it was all based on energy.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
I think once the Anunnaki came with those binaries, somehow we, the divine feminine, had to like count, like she created a male or whatever to go to war with their binary. I feel something like that.
And probably so. Probably so. But I believe it was XX.
Because we have to remember, though, that they had to get permission from the divine feminine in their realm to even set up shop and do everything.
Agreed.
So they were never acting under their authority to begin with.
Agreed.
So somebody had to create them and place in them whatever it was they had chromosome-wise.
So it's either a couple of options. Number one, we just know the Y chromosome showed up on the scene 340,000 years ago over there. That we do know. So now who they bred with to keep creating them, I'm just going by logic that for thousands of years, they were breeding over there amongst their own because they placed their own women over there to be the geneticists and even took her chromosomes for the gene slicing. The Y came into the genetic pool over in North America once they started coming over here. And they tell you in the Sumerian text when they came to Mesoamerica, when they came to Mesoamerica, I'm just assuming that's what brought the Y chromosome. Just
But
assuming.
what if the Y chromosome is just something exclusive to beings who aren't indigenous to this planet? I mean, how many of us have actually looked at what's in our blood chromosome or whatever and
Can you
know it
say that
for a
again,
fact?
Brother Sean?
How many of us have actually looked at our own blood or chromosomes, whatever, and
But
know
what did you
exactly
say
what we're?
before that? What did you say
It might
before that?
say that Y chromosome might be exclusive to beings who aren't indigenous to this planet.
It might be sworn to be indigenous to this planet.
I say that's not indigenous.
Yeah, okay, I know, I'm fucking with you, brother, because I wanted it to come from you, because I know you get it, and that's why I told people to go head on and head on out. That's why I told people to go on and head on out. That's exactly why I told people to go on and head on out. Because that Y chromosome could very well be foreign to the planet. That would line up with the XX being the oldest and the Y chromosome appearing as some sort of deformity once you stack it up against that X chromosome. And I'm just simply telling y'all that they're clocking it at 340,000 years ago. So again, men, y'all got some deep, deep soul searching to do. I have been telling you all for years, this patriarch shit is not natural. It is destructive to the planet. So now you can take it for what it's worth. It's up to you. All right.
Well, actually, sis, remember when they was talking about that those creations of theirs was only supposed to be around for so long and they wasn't supposed to procreate in the first place?
Yeah.
So they had a certain life cycle
Absolutely.
anyway. And
Absolutely.
even in the Bible, it says that their Lord's Spirit shall dwell within them for 120 years.
Yeah, which is why when I did the podcast about the Y chromosome, based on the science, and they were saying that the Y chromosome has an expiration date on it. Literally, that's what they're saying. And I'm like, oh shit, this is deep. Because I immediately went back to the creation stories and just reading different things saying that a gene pool would be eliminated. Now, fast forward, and by the way, it took me, I think I dropped that podcast last year. I have been sitting on that information about the expiration of the Y chromosome for quite some time. Quite some time. Actually, a sister out of the UK, she had posted one of the books she was reading. I said, what? And she said, yeah, you may want to pick this up. I have been talking for a couple of years, and the sis dropped in the chat. We have been talking about this for years. 4 years. We have been talking about that maybe that Y chromosome is not even natural to the planet, that's what the invasion was about. But I had to wait all of this time to bring it to you all. And it ain't like I'm the only one. You think that they're putting on the television about the last Y man standing? You think they're putting that on television for the fuck of it? You think they put in a series, Handmaid's Tales, forcing women to breed? You think they putting it there for the fuck of it? You think that these states that are trying to reverse abortion laws, you think they're doing that for the fuck of it? Take your pick. See, I don't know about you, but I don't pretend. I don't coddle. I'm not going to take half truth just to make a motherfucker feel comfortable. If we are adults, we are adults. Take the information for what it's worth. And you could, I'm okay if you still feel like she full of shit, this, that, and the third. But you can't say you don't know. Because now your soul is on notice. Because if you think for 1 second, for 1 millisecond, you finna ascend with this same patriarchal bullshit, you in for a rude awakening. Black men, if you think for 1 millisecond, you finna rule, you finna get a chance to sit on some fucking throne, to pretty much keep the same fuck shit patriarch system going, you're in for a rude awakening. You don't have to take my word for it. Every avenue that you can possibly think of proves my point every motherfucking millisecond. Choice is yours. This is soul searching shit. Not what you think I feel about you or any of that, or not what you think any woman feel about you. You take it for what it's worth. But you can't say you didn't know. If you didn't head on out of here, you can't say you didn't know. And I don't care if you are indigenous or if you are African or if you are Asian. If you hold that Y chromosome, I want y'all to be fucking crystal clear what I am telling you. If you hold that Y chromosome, you better be doing some soul searching, baby. You better be trying to get it right. Because you ain't getting no passes. You better fucking hope you're forgiven. You don't have to remember what I said. You don't have to believe what I say. But fucking trust me, you've been put on notice. All right, so with that said, let's move on. Let's move on. Let's move on. Let's move on. All right. All right, brother 832, you still my dude, but I wasn't for the gaslighting tonight, bruh. You know how I am. Okay. So just this other thing I wanted to share with you all. What is this out of this book? This is Kingship on Earth. Shout out to Brother Christopher. This is an excerpt out of this. This is on page 415. Because I want to be clear. Let me sip my water. The Nephilim, we are told, reached the conclusion that they needed an intermediary between themselves and the masses of humans. They decided to be gods. Elu, I think that's what that is. I'm trying to read it. And Akkadian, meaning lofty ones. Okay, that lines up with what Dr. Chris H. Harding was saying in the Wars of the Anunnaki. Exactly what she was saying. Last time we went over that in the book, we were talking about how the Anunnaki set themselves up as gods. They didn't even have a concept of worshiping a god. Okay, so that lines up. As a bridge between themselves as lords and mankind, they introduce kingship on earth. Okay, so I just want to reiterate, now lip itching and everything, that remember these Anunnaki beings, these male beings, they did not even hold the seat of power or rulership in their homeland. They reported up to a council and reported up to the person that held the seat of power was a queen. Okay? But yet they brought their motherfucking funky asses here. And the Y chromosome showed up 340,000 years ago and set themselves up as gods. Is that a coincidence? Why all major religions are patriarch? Blink 75 times. Blink 75 times. Is that a coincidence? Why all of those major religions talk about a concept of a male god? Appointing a human ruler who would assure mankind service to the gods, the Anunnaki, that they made themselves as gods, male gods at that, and channel the teachings and laws of the gods to the people. Huh? You mean they was, what do you call it when they come over and they be teaching people Christianity and shit? It's a word for
evangelize it.
Thank you. So you mean they was evangelizing back up there, that they was teaching and laws of the gods to the people? A text dealing with the subject describes the situation before either tiara or crown had been placed on a human head or scepter handed down. Now let me sip my water. Let me blink 75 more times. Who holds scepters and always talk about whoever holds that scepter is the king rulership? What particular group of people does that? What bloodline does that?
King James and them and them nobilities and your
Blink 75 times. Blink 75
Yeah,
times.
they always got in their little pictures the scepter and the globe.
The pharaohs too.
Blink
Pharaohs.
75 times. Blink 75
They
times.
always, all they little separate groups be having similar things in their costumes, in their coats. That's how you know it's a cult. You got a little costume you can recognize.
It's their bloodline.
Blink 75 times. Blink 75 times. So now what happened when? Where? Do you understand what you are saying? When you say your bloodline links through that bloodline, the biblical bloodline, do you understand what you're saying? And if you understand what you're saying, I am cool with that. Trust me. I don't have a problem with that. That's your people. Rep your people. But what does that have to do with North America? I'll continue.
Hey, sis.
Yes, sir.
And he said, channel the message of the gods, just like you got all these channelers now channeling all these different aliens. But yet and still in all those channels, they still refer to indigenous people as a total and separate being, period. So that means that they know that they got hybrids and everything else down here.
Yep.
But they still know that there is indigenous people, and they are the ones that make main reference to North America. That's them. That's not us. And the fact that everything has eyes on us here.
Yep.
Just further clarifies the fact that in over 450,000 years, they still haven't been able to conquer us. They didn't land here and set up shop. They landed elsewhere, and it took them thousands upon thousands of years to make their punk asses away over here to get in the position that they're in now.
Well.
But that's our fault. We were out of balance.
Absolutely.
We forgot who we were. We started grabbing hold to everything that everyone else presented to us.
Absolutely.
And that's what people are falling into now.
Absolutely.
You could take many physical existences, looking any way you choose to. You're that powerful.
Absolutely.
It's not really your physical body that they're concerned with. It's your soul, it's your energy, it's your abilities to create and sustain life. They need your energy to continue to be here. They need you to vibrate at a low enough frequency where they can coexist here.
With the fuck shit.
You have to come into balance with that divine feminine and divine masculine energy.
You have to come into wholeness.
That's what the balance brings about, because too many of us get too stuck off into the characters, which these male and female bodies are characters. Avatars, as numbers on it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's not all that we're capable of. We can go so far beyond this. We happen to let parasites or bugs infest these bioorganic computers that we created to have in this experience.
Yep.
But we can choose any other form we want on Mama Anu.
Yep.
Something that they can't hack into. But you have to be able to think beyond what you already know or what you think you know.
Right.
It's really that simple. You don't have to worry about being banished if you're doing what you're supposed to do.
Exactly. That's why this is deep soul searching. I know why I said what I said.
Mm-hmm. And true enough, it's a feminine planet. That's what gives life, the divine feminine. It's through her womb that we get here. If you didn't get here through that divine womb, then you're not indigenous to here. It's that simple if we're talking in the terms of the physical and who belongs here physically. The only way here is through that divine indigenous womb. Any other womb you come out of, hey.
Boop, boop, beep, boop.
Exactly. I can't speak for that. I mean, you're just not. I mean, I understand, the seed may have been of an indigenous man, but don't no rights come through that. That's just nature. I mean, all you have to do is look at Mama Earth, look in the animal kingdom, the insect kingdom, everything. It's the feminine who runs everything. And for the brothers that want to be lions, king of the jungle, so to speak, do you really enter and understand what their lives is like? Once you reach a certain age, you got to get the fuck out, or they will kill you for your ass to get out.
Yep. And why do they get killed?
Because they ain't listening. They're out of balance. They're out of whack. But it goes on that they get kicked out. Is either they hook up with some other male lions who got kicked out and, form a little clique, hunt together.
Right.
And hopefully you get you a down enough homeboy where you can go and try and take some other male lion shit. Hopefully he weak enough or old enough for you to be able to kill him and his homeboy and run them off. Then you might have to fight with the lioness because you gonna want to kill off all the cubs.
Right. And she gonna fight to the death over that nigga.
And then if she do accept you and give you children, then the cycle begins all over again because here comes some other young upstarts just looking for them, some ladies. And now you got to fight all the time to try and keep your women and your children. I mean, look at the male praying mantis. He get to get some, but then that's the last thing he get to do because she turn around and start eating him. You about to feed the babies. You ain't got to worry about child support, nigga. You about to take care of these babies.
Oh, nigga, you
For
think
real.
you finna harass me over them funk ass $2, them last $2 in your pocket? Shit, you can get the fuck on. How about that?
Yeah, you can get some, and I'm gonna eat you while you getting it. Just
Exactly.
Yeah, you about to feed these babies.
Shit. What
the black widow spider.
She basically saying, nigga, what is your use? What value are you bringing to the table? Because you slinging your ping, and I can
And
get
even
right
with
up out this bed and put on your clothes, nigga. Come on. Wrap this shit up. Put on your clothes. Open up my door. Get the fuck out. What value are you adding? Ain't nobody got time to be playing with folk. Y'all got the game fucked up. And I am so sorry that your fathers didn't teach you this. I am so sorry that some women have allowed you to do that weak ass shit that you've been doing in these squeets. But nigga, you got the game fucked up. That's not how nature works. I'm sorry, Brother Sean, continue.
and ant colonies also. The males, they have wings, but you get your wings clipped off. You get to go mate with the queen, then they eat your ass. The colonies are all female. The male is only produced to mate with the queen, and then you done for.
So,
I mean,
I'm sorry, go ahead, Brother Sean.
now just the point being that the divine feminine rules in whatever queendom you're talking about on earth.
Exactly.
It's just that simple.
Because you're on the feminine planet, remember that. Remember the XX is way older. We just showed you the visual. The XX doesn't need the XY to recreate herself. So it would make sense that the Y chromosome is foreign. So again, what is your use to the planet? What is your use to women? What is your use to your offspring that most of you beg to have? What's your use? And if you have no use for any one of those, let me put this picture back up here. If you have no use for women, if you have no use for children, you might as well go on and head on out, bruh. Sorry you weren't taught this. Sorry you got the game fucked up. Go on and head on out, bruh. All right, so. Oh, shit, my bad, y'all. It's not that one, it's this one. So, brother Nephilim, them. Okay, so, they appointing kings who get either a tiara or crown placed upon the human head or scepter handed down. And I remember King James specifically talking about he who holds the scepter is the rulership. I remember him saying that he is the bloodline of Judah, this, that, and the third. All these symbols of kingship plus the shepherd's crook. Ain't that the thing that Abraham was holding, or am I lying upon him?
That's what it looked like to me in the depiction they show.
Okay, I didn't want to lie upon them. The symbol of righteousness and justice lay deposited before a new in heaven. Blink 75 times, blink 75 times. So biblical people, just as long as you realize if you're tying your bloodline to that Bible just as long as you understand who your kinfolk is. After the gods had reached their decision, however, kingship descended from heaven to earth. So your sky daddy them, after they then came to earth, terraformed, tearing down the ancient trees, excavating the land, making these quarries, changing the atmosphere, genetic experimenting, bringing a Y chromosome, installing a system of patriarch. Oh, I forgot to put in there, resetting a few motherfucking times, hitting you with nuclear energy a few little times, wiping out shit, kicking your ass, telling you you're gonna obey. Your reward was you have to worship them now, and they gonna put a kingship in place to make sure that you do that shit. So biblical people, again, I don't care if this is your people.
It says,
Yes, sir.
did you say they sent kingship down from heaven to earth?
It said, because I don't want to lie up upon these people. Plus the shepherd's crook, the symbol of righteousness and justice, lay deposited before Anu in heaven. After the gods had reached their decision, however, kingship descended from heaven to earth.
After the gods decided, kingship decided. So, what that sounds like to me is they wanted a whole separate realm of worship, saying, you know, all this king shit, that's taking up too much space here in heaven, so we could send that shit down there. We gods up here, y'all can be kings down there, but only gods is up here.
Right, because they don't even rule their own shit, not in their own
Home world.
Land. They don't run a motherfucking thing. Didn't they say Anu was an administrator?
Yeah, they all had jobs with contracts.
So he don't run a motherfucking thing but his mouth, and he ain't finna run that up in front of that queen.
Yeah, it was their council. Yeah, it was their matriarchal council that ran everything.
So you ninjas on Earth, you think for 1 second that we finna allow you to continue to rule and run shit in the ground? Now you can get with your pappy, get on that motherfucking spaceship and go on about your business. That's what you can do. Or get prepared to be dealt with severely. Because you're not going to be running shit anymore. You could take that how you want to take it. That patriarch shit is dead, son. All right. So again, that was from the book Kingship on Earth, on page 415 at the bottom. Okay. All right. Let's get back into child. It's 12:15. All right. So let's get back into the wars of the Anunnaki. Yeah. Number Zone said building roads, castles, towers, houses, polluting, eating the animals, everything against nature. Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. I have marked off where we left off. Okay, so now I'm going back into Wars of the Anunnaki, Nuclear Self-Destruction in Ancient Sumer. This is by Dr. Chris H. Hardy. Right, I'm just going to hold it up so y'all can see it once again. I got this off of Amazon. Okay. All righty. So, last time we left off, and this is perfect timing, she was just going through how the Anunnaki did not worship a specific religion, and not even anything spiritual for that matter. Okay. So, damn, I just had it. Where did I lose it? All right. So I'm on page 39. And again, I'm just taking snippets. Okay. You know, if you want every little nook and cranny in here, I highly recommend you get the book. It's a very easy read, and I have to admit, she packs a lot in here, fam. She really, really does. So I'm sure I'm probably not highlighting some stuff that, you know, you may want to point out and be like, dang. Okay, so it says, the metaphor is, of course, fully applicable to human learning. One style of relationship, the friendly and challenging one, is literally coaching the development of intelligence and spirituality in kids, and it provides further incentives to creativity through supporting and complementary feedback. The opposite type, the strict relational style, the one commanding and willing to be obeyed as strictly as possible, triggers the progressive shrinking and contraction of the kids. I hate saying kids. Children's intelligence, strategies, and processes in order to only conform to the father/master's expectations and receive his strict and scarce orders. So what she's pretty much saying is, because she took you on this journey on how the Anunnaki really doesn't have a concept of a higher being, a higher God, any of that. They're mainly on technology, but they set themselves up to be gods, to be worshipped by, quote, quote, the humans of planet Earth. And she's giving you how there's two ways to teach a child. You know, one in a nurturing manner. Okay, so allowing the child to develop their own individuality and be an explorer and learn things organically, with, of course, a little guidance from you when needed, versus, nope, you're going to do what I say, my way is law, etc., etc. She is putting this in relation to how the Anunnaki set up their religions to be the command, to follow the orders, the father, the slash master. All right. And then I just made a note here, because as I was reading through this, I said, if the Anunnaki were all powerful and mystical, why did they need resources and slaves? Wait. Let me drink.
Yeah, and it threw me off in the last piece when you had read, they said they set themselves up as gods, but then they were channeling the gods. Like, hold on, how you going to be the god and channel the god?
Mm-hmm. And also, just think about this. If they was all that, this, that, or the other, why they just didn't come here with a race of created beings, perfected?
Exactly.
Right. So many holes in the story.
And not only that, if they was all of that in a bag of chips with some hummus, as y'all could tell I love me some hummus.
You wouldn't have to go nowhere to do shit. You just stay where you are and be great.
Where the fuck you are. Why can't you go make your shit great again? Why can't you make your shit great again? Why you got to come over to our shit? Because you came here originally, they say, to mine for gold, but then you wind up staying, you 450,000 years in. But if you all let in a bag of chips and hummus and you gods, why are you here? Why did you need this planet's gold, resources, and why did you need slaves to even do all that for you? I'm sorry, go ahead, Brother Sean.
Nobody's ever said what type of damage Nibiru sustained when it crashed into Momma. So I don't think the Nibiru was just that big and bad of a motherfucker where it didn't sustain some type of damage or something didn't happen, especially considering so many of them been trapped here. Maybe some of them ain't been able to get back home, and that's why they've been waiting for this reset to try and get back home, because they know the shit is up here.
Right.
That's why they're trying to get people to focus on certain energies, to come to their home planets where they say you don't have to worry about food or anything. All you have to do is vibrate at that certain frequency and be receptive to them and ask them for help. They suckering people into some new shit.
Absolutely. And I don't consent, but continue.
And who's to say that it's actually going to be on their planet? You might still be here in this same 3D shit, stuck off in some machine, some goddamn where, while they draining your energy and you dreaming that you on some goddamn planet somewhere. Because if they had all that capability to get their asses back home, knowing what they know, that it only takes 1% of us to be back on our shit, and they know we've probably hit that now.
Exactly.
If not a little more.
Exactly.
Right, that's why they so desperate doing all the shit that they doing now.
Right.
So, I mean, we can't keep focusing on them. They done for, and all their actions show that they're done for. They need us to exist here, and they also need us for their asses to get home.
Exactly.
And I don't agree or consent to helping them do either one.
Agreed.
Your ass can float in limbo for all the fuck I care for all the bullshit that y'all done.
Float.
And anybody else, whether you say you're beings of light or you're nice and friendly, all that shit, y'all set up and watched for hundreds of thousands of years, set up and watched this bullshit happen. And now you want to act like you are motherfucking friends because we're coming back into our greatness. And you motherfuckers in fear again. But now you fearing the right motherfuckers. You see, the whole time you've been fearing the Anunnaki and all the wrong motherfuckers, when the whole time them bitches been in fear.
Float on. Keep on going.
So that party is over.
Exactly.
I digress.
All right. Okay. So the more global problem is this one. A parent is supposed to nurture and I guess that's provide the affection, intellectual, and spiritual development of their children. They are not supposed to have children to only serve them and please them and to tend their garden and do their chores and to top it off, praise them daily. And we know some selfish motherfuckers right now procreating that's doing that to these babies. They don't give a fuck about them babies. It's about they want the babies there to serve them. This is exactly what selfish motherfuckers do that bring these babies into the world for fucked up ass reasons. It's not to, again, nurture, affection, spiritual development, intellectual. It's about to serve you. It's that same fucked up behavior. And this is why people piss, moan, cry, kick, scream about taking care of their children, about protecting their children. Because you's a shitty motherfucker. But let's continue. This issue of blind obedience demanded by the deity is taken to its nonsensical extreme when Abe is asked, let me sip my water. When Abe is asked, take your son, your only son, whom you love, and offer him there at the burnt offering on one of the mountains. In Abraham and the Seeds of Patriarchy, Carol Delaney, an anthropologist professor at Stanford University, voices a strong rebuttal. Sips water. Biblical folk, this your people. So you can't have one without the other. Can't pick and choose. So now what the anthropologist ladies say, what kind of God would ask such a thing, she exclaims. Such a story, when heard at a young age, has a profound effect on our notion of family and gender. So the whole fucked up mindset of what a family is supposed to be, what the roles of the parents are supposed to be, are fucked up from the start. If you following their ideology, regardless of whether we are believers, absolutely, it's fucked up all around. It has somehow structured our social and religious values in our symbolic realm. So when I rake you motherfuckers over the over the coals, when I rake this patriarch system over the coals, I mean what the fuck I said. I do agree, given the the numerous and liberating state I experienced for months after the excruciating process of analyzing the biblical data that entailed fighting these shadows in our collective and unconscious with a will to scatter them. Yet, as Delaney reminds us, the story of the sacrifice is annually recounted or reenacted symbolically in 3 religions of the book. On the holiest days, she said the test or trial for Abraham is intercepted as his being willing to give up the thing he loved most in the world to prove his love of God. And y'all want to try to convince me the good coming up out of this book? That's what you're going to try to convince me. You ain't going to convince me. Now, you can keep lying to your goddamn self to try to convince your goddamn self. We're not understanding as Black melanated people that hold that Bible near and dear to their hearts. Why families are so fucked up. Why children are sacrificed on a regular. You're not getting this correlation. Oh, okay, then, okay. The rationale. Oh, you're going to try to convince me that you men bros over hoes? You don't understand where that concept comes from? Oh, okay, then. The rationale is understandable. It's not to me, anthropologist lady. It has never been understandable to me. It's never been forgivable to me. It's never been tolerated by me. But is relinquishing something one values the same as taking away the life of another person? I'm going to back that up. She says the test or trial for Abraham is interpreted as his being willing to give up the thing that he loved most in the world to prove his love of God, of his sky daddy. The rationale is understandable. Not to me, but okay. But is relinquishing something one values the same as taking away the life of another person? And I say you never valued your child. You never valued your child. Because you were willing to serve your child up to your motherfucking sky daddy. So, Black community, do you think that the reason children are not protected, women are not protected, it's because they're not valued. What's valued is Sky Daddy. What's valued is that Y chromosome. And it's so fucked up that black men, Y chromosomes, you don't even protect your Y chromosome, your sons. Just saying. But you know, hey, if that's your people, you know, that's your people now. That's your people now. Rep your people now. But you're not going to pretend over here. You're not going to make me accept your bullshit. It's unnatural. It's destructive. It is an invasion to the planet. That's what patriarch is. Let me back that up for the slow motherfuckers in the back so you can be very clear on where I stand. Patriarch is destructive. It's unnatural. It is foreign to the planet. Let's continue. The leader encouraged parents to use corporal punishment to the point that each set of parents had their own monogram paddles. A 2-year-old child died after being paddled for 2 hours by both his parents within the communal house. And she's giving an example of an extreme Christian group. That's what she's describing, and I didn't feel like going through all of that. According to the judge, this leader, who was the most culpable of all, despite that she had not actually participated in the physical abuse, the argument of her lawyers was the free exercise of religion. But the judge's conviction stated that this system of child abuse was mistakenly justified under the guise of religion. The Supreme Court even refused to hear an appeal. So in other words, they had to convict the abuse of parents, and they wanted to come back on religion. So again, because of their corporal religious beliefs that their sky daddy gave them, the courts had to protect and rescue the children. Now again, black community, we see this over and over again. Because you get hemmed up in these groups that turn into cults. Every one of those groups has had a scandal with children being abused. It may not be physical abuse, but abuse is abuse is abuse. Let's back it on up. Grown-ass men marrying 12-year-old, 13-year-old, 14-year-old, 15-year-old, 16-year-olds. The younger, the better. Or messing with them. But you all justify that shit. Convicted abusers. And yet, that same group of people rock for these convicted folks that were literally convicted of abusing children. That's not even to mention what was happening to the women, to the grown-ass women. Black community. Before you get on that motherfucking white man, I'ma get on your motherfucking monk ass. Let's be honest. Didn't they just talk about a case with our Kelly stinking ass? And you niggas still running around saying what he ain't did. Although it's been documented on record that the nigga been doing it for decades. He was so bold with the shit, he tape recorded his shit, his fuckery. And you dead ass niggas still running around talking about something he innocent. Didn't polite, greasy, monkey face, stinking ass facing a case with messing with a baby? And you niggas, oh, we gotta wait. We gotta wait. We gotta wait. We gotta wait and see what the white man said. You mean the polite that was giving his praise to Dr. York? You mean the Dr. York that's sitting in jail for hundreds of motherfucking years for messing with babies? Hundreds of babies? And yet you niggas still justifying his innocence? That's just some of the highlights. You don't value children. You don't value women. Your only use for women is to bring your seed in place. That's your only use for women. You don't value a motherfucking thing but yourself. But you got it honest, though. You got it honest. You got it from your funk ass daddy them. So that's the black community that I'm supposed to be jumping up and down for. That I'm supposed to pick up a motherfucking sign and tell a white man to fuck himself, do this, that, and the third. White supremacy, this, that, and the third. That's the fucking black community. You niggas think that moi? I don't think so. We see you for who you are. This ain't about your skin color. I'm looking at your actions. I'm feeling your vibration. I know your dirty ass bloodline. And we coming for you, nigga. Every ounce of pain, every drop of blood that you have spilled, we coming to collect. We coming for you, nigga. All right. The leader encouraged parents. All right, we talked about that. Grievin traces the rationale for such abuse to the Lord, whose name is jealous, and to the book of Proverbs, falsely, in my view, attributed to Solomon, the king of Israel. Grevin lists a dozen of these, inciting to use rods, to have been religious cause of the child abuse at the homes and in schools, leading later to physical violence in families and the society at large. As late as the early 90s, Grevin judged the pervasiveness of such views about physical punishment among various faiths in the United States, and a crucially important issue. Okay? Such stories as that of Abraham willing to kill his own son to follow unethical yet divine orders are thus interpreted and regularly reenacted with this very interpretation, solely as a means for listeners to be in awe and to fear the God of this ancient time and place. Clearly, the unique aim of all of these so-called teachings. Grievin judges that it remains one of the most profoundly disturbing examples of Jehovah's willingness to destroy human life in order to assure himself of the unquestionable and absolute obedience of his subjects. That's y'all gods. So I'm cool if that's your bloodline. Rep your bloodline. I just hope that you're clear what that bloodline really is. As Carl Jung makes us aware of in his answers to Job, we have, as humanity, starting with Job, realizing that his Lord is an unjust, jealous, and uncaring God, definitely developed higher standards of ethics regarding human rights, minority rights, children's and women's rights. It is time for all of us to assess with a clear mind the kind of divine persona and value systems that were upheld for us to honor and emulate with blind obedience, and whose horrendous deeds, skewing our psyche, were supposedly recounted for our moral and spiritual benefit. And omniscient God should be the one to have as an aim the future development of the children. So you black men that are gods, you black men who say you are gods, but your priority aren't the children. Gonna ask you again, what is your purpose on this planet? You're not going to get away with it. Every pain that was suffered, every drop of blood that was spilled, we coming for you. So, we're going to stop there. We're going to pick back up next week. Let me mark this. Ciao. That's all I can take tonight. Son Scotty, you got any last words for the family?
Really know your bloodline and know your lines, meaning like what script, like it's so many fucking scripts and narratives and all this shit that motherfuckers want to give you. It ain't about fucking buying into all this fake shit they want to give you to buy into. You create your identity. You create your reality. But you gotta have some source material and that source material is you, is your bloodline. So that's it. Real simple, you know.
All right, son. Brother Sean, you have any last words for the family?
Yeah. Mm. The whole soul of the matter. You being pure energy, able to manifest any reality you desire. Through this process of reincarnation, at some point, we've all been man and woman, dependent upon what experiences you were seeking or what karma you had to deal with and which role you played. Balance to wholeness is what's always going to be required. In any whole being, there's the balance of the masculine and feminine. Feminine rules, of course, the source of all life, period. Man has not created life. He has not nurtured it. He has not formed it. He has given spark energy, yes, but he doesn't form it. The divine feminine is the only one capable of forming energy, reshaping it. She alone has that power. As you see with Inky and all of them and their experiments, and mankind following after them in experimentation, only creates low vibrational and destructive things. Period. Be who you are. Learn who that is. And let's say you are a hybrid that's tired of that bullshit. You don't really like the way that things are going. Your battle and your birthrights take place in your homeland. They telling you that they're here to get you, this, that, or the other. They telling you what you have to do to get back home. Have at it if you're tired of all this. Take what you've learned from here, take it home, and straighten shit out at home. That's all we want to do. We just want to take care of our home and each other.
Indeed.
Y'all got all this technology and y'all quote unquote gods and can do all this interdimensional travel and all this shit y'all confess to. But you can't get shit right at home.
Yep.
You hear us talk about cleaning up around your own doorstep all the time. That message is for y'all too. Go home and clean around your doorstep. Wholeness and power, y'all. Love y'all.
Thank you, Brother Sean. Nisi Pooh says, I'm so happy to be a woman. I ain't never been this happy about some simple shit. Rise up, sisters, and know how beautiful and magical we are. We are freaking awesome. Absolutely.
Oh yeah, definitely. I agree with that 100%. But we all got to step up and play our part. I mean, having daughters. Daughters can choose some of these little knuckleheads out here and will actually choose them over their father that's trying to protect them. Will
Absolutely.
actually cause the father or brothers, cousin, whatever, to lose their life or freedom, and they still go back and choose that little knucklehead nigga.
Right. The fuckery.
So, we all have our part to play in all this. If we're going to be needed to be there, y'all can't keep putting us in dumbass predicaments where we lose our freedom instead of the other in a situation that doesn't need be. We too busy focused on the harm that we're doing to each other. We don't have time to deal with the true enemy. We're too busy seeing each other as the enemy.
Yeah. Nisi said, and any you brothers are awesome too. Love you, Uncle Sean and brother Scotty Saturn. Um, and you brothers are awesome too. Love you, Uncle Sean and brother Scotty Saturn. Yeah, absolutely. My brothers that rock with me, y'all already know how I feel. I don't have to put that disclaimer in there. Um, this fuckery, it ends now. Sisters, you gotta get on your shit. If you holding up this patriarch system, you gonna fucking be dealt with too. Don't think that you ain't. You gonna be dealt with. You're not gonna be coddled. I don't give a fuck you coming out windmill and swinging for these degenerates. No fucks are given. Every drop of blood that was spilled, every harm that was caused to children and women, you will be dealt with. And we coming for you. So thank you all so much, family, for rocking with us. We will be back next week to pick up. Child, I know this was a rough one. Brothers, I know this rough. I gave y'all a little warning, but we'll be back next week. I hope everyone is well on this Thursday. Just keep doing you, family. Keep being honest with yourself. This is soul searching shit. This ain't no make you feel good type shit. I'm not fencing to sit up here and lie. You don't think that this shit hurted me to my motherfucking soul? I didn't just wake up out of bed and start presenting this shit to you. I've been sitting on this shit for years. And the more and more I learn of the sickness, the degeneracy, it hurts to the motherfucking soul. And I'm not going to enable anyone. No one gets a pass. Get your shit together or get dealt with, because we coming for you. So have a good one, family. Love you very much. Thank you, Brother Sean. Thank you, son Scotty, for rocking with me like y'all always do. Sis Sandra, sis Chow, you girl, the universe knew not to have you on here, because you the nice one. You the nice one. So I take the total blamed for this. I mean, every fucking word I said. But have a good day, family. Have a good night. We love y'all. We will be back next week. Peace and love, fam.
We are in the age of truth, freedom, love, prosperity, abundance, and peace. Welcome to Truth UnCONPromeyezed.
You still recording, sis?
Recording stopped.